Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne Sportsnet production, available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.
All right, it's Thursday, and this is Steve Austin Show Unleashed, where everything flies, including the kitchen sink, because we got wings on it. And we're just a couple of days away from Christmas, so happy holidays to everybody. Before we get going today, let me help you fight the holiday sweets temptation. You can avoid the candy and cookie and cakes and pies, and you can snack on something that's better for you that'll be just as satisfying. Nature Box. Nature Box makes snacks that actually taste great and are better for you. They're made with high-quality ingredients that don't have any artificial colors, flavors, or sweeteners. And they got something for everyone. They got snacks like blueberry Greek yogurt pretzels, sweet and spicy buffalo popcorn, and peanut butter pretzels. And Nature Box recently improved their service. Now you can order as much as you want, as often as you want, with no minimum purchase required. And you can cancel at any time. So go to naturebox.com and check out their snack catalog. There's over 100 snacks to choose from, and they're always adding new snacks too. Just choose the ones you like, and they'll deliver them right to your door. And if you ever try a snack that you don't like, Nature Box will replace it for free. And right now, you'll save even more. Nature Box is offering 50% off your first order when you go to naturebox.com/podcast. That's naturebox.com/podcast for 50% off your first order. naturebox.com/podcast.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're going to take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show, Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the Broken Skull Ranch out here in South Texas, where we're right in the middle of deer season, and the deer are starting to rut. The bucks are starting to chase the does, and it's starting to get real exciting out here, man. Ted Fowler, 361, is going to join me on this podcast here in a minute. We're going to answer the questions that you guys sent in, the questions at steveaustinshow.com. Elaborate on a few subjects of topics of conversation that you sent in. And I don't know how much depth or detail we're going to get on some of the things that you guys asked. Goddamn, I ain't no rocket scientist. Fuck, we did the best we could. Nonetheless, Ted Fowler, 361, is my guest, and we sit there and bullshitted over at his crib for about an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm going to keep this open kind of short. I'm fixing to go down to the shooting range with my nephew, Neil. He is down here from Victoria, Texas, chasing a big buck with his illustrious Uncle Steve, a global icon and a national treasure. Take him down to the target range, get him all dialed in, and hey, man, hopefully someone will show up at the deer stand tonight for that young man. Hey, got a good show for you today. Like I said, Ted Fowler's going to join me. I got a room full of dogs. My wife is over there sitting reading her magazines. She's trying to entertain herself. She's ready to go roll around on a ranch in a Kawasaki mule and drink a Bloody Mary with her esteemed husband, me. Because today, December 21st, is our anniversary. We've been together for 12 years. But we've been married for 6 years? Seven? See, I didn't know how long we've been married. We've been married for 7 wonderful years. I used to have a completely brown goatee. Now it's all silver, like when Moses got them 10 commandments from God up on that mountain. 7 years of marriage will do that to you. Nonetheless, I'm just kidding. Hey, we're going to ride around and drink Bloody Marys and margaritas.
Whatever you feel like.
Well, I was thinking I might just drink water. I might drink straight whiskey. It's been a long 7 years. When you said I do, that changed my life forever, for the better. I love you, honey. my nephew Neil's back there shaking his head with a smile on his face saying, what the fuck? But he's only 16, so he just said, what the heck? He's a great 17?
Yeah.
Damn, Neil, you 17?
So January 17th, I'll be 17.
Yeah, you little whippersnapper, you. I sold Neil my 2007 Chevy Z71 pickup about a year ago, and god dang, he chiseled me down and got a rock bottom price off of me. put him a sound system in it. I think he just got his first set of wheels he's going to slap on that truck. He's doing all the same shit I did back in the day when I went through my cars, putting sound systems in, putting wheels on, the things you do when you're able to get your first damn car or truck. Neil is down. We're going to see if we can put him on a deer this evening. Hey, man, I'm not going to sit here and fiddle fuck around. I want to tell you all Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. I hope you travel safe. I know the airports are going to be slammed. The weather's going to be crazy. It's going to be icy in different parts of the United States. But Merry Christmas to everybody from the Broken Skull Ranch, whether you believe in Christmas or not. We do. We got a 1-foot-tall Christmas tree. And if you think I'm lying, I'm going to send a picture of it out. It's the same kind of tree we get every goddamn year. I need to stop cussing so much talking about Christmas. What the fuck? It's the Unleashed Show. I'm going to keep cussing. Hey, I'm going to get into the body of this podcast, but first I got to take care of one of the sponsors, and that happens to be a very close personal friend of mine, Diamond Dallas Page and DDPY. Dallas has changed thousands of lives with his DDPY program, and I don't just mean the pro wrestlers who love it like Jake the Snake, RVD, Kane, Mick Foley. I mean all the people all over the globe who just want to live a healthier life. And DDPY can do the same for your ass. And since it's the holidays, DDP's so damn crazy, he's offering up a great deal on DDPY. Buy a max pack or a combo pack and get a second for 50% off. And, of course, when you buy the DDPY DVDs, you'll also get 3 months free access to the DDP Yoga Now app. And that means you can do DDPY right from your phone or tablet, anytime, anywhere. So if you've been thinking about taking control of your own health and fitness going into the new year, now's the time to do it. Take advantage of this great deal at ddpyoga.com/Austin. That's ddpyoga.com/Austin. This is one of DDPY's best deals to go along with Dallas's big love of the holidays. Holy smokes, that guy must have over 100 Santa figures at his place down there in Atlanta, GA. He's also got a holiday train that runs through his house. I think he's going out of his mind. So he's spreading his holiday spirit by giving you the chance to buy a max pack or a combo pack and get a second for 50% off. Take advantage of DDP's ho, ho, ho holiday sale at ddpyoga.com/Austin. That's ddpyoga.com/Austin. Commit now. Change your life now. Go to ddpyoga.com/Austin to get started. Ho, ho, ho! Y'all know how much I appreciate you listening to the Unleashed Show every single week, and that's why we've created a new automated email system to make sure you never miss a single episode. Just go to PodcastOne.com/Steve Austin and sign up. We'll let you know exactly when a new show is out and who the guest is. So sign up now at PodcastOne.com/Steve Austin. That's PodcastOne.com/Steve Austin.
Steve Austin, Unleashed.
Sitting there at the Broken Skull Ranch. Just got a smile on my face. Ted Fowler is sitting at the other end of the table from me. I haven't looked at him yet. I'm looking at him. Morning, Ted. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I hit the record button. We're over on your side of the compound. I'm not going to hit the stop button until we finish. So no matter how bad I fuck this up, or if we give anybody some shitty advice, this is it. You good?
I'm good.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let it rip.
How you feeling this morning? I'm a little dragged out, tired. I stayed up too late last night.
You know what? I feel pretty good. I actually went to bed at a decent hour last night.
God damn, I tell you what. It's been a long time since I've used any foreign substances, but if I had about a 9-inch rail of cocaine on the table, might help me get through the fucking podcast.
I feel pretty good because I'm out of beer. I've been out of beer for a couple of days.
What were you drinking last night?
Jack and Coke.
Goddamn, my wife came home from Pleasanton yesterday. Pleasanton is a town where we get our groceries. It's 55 miles one way. She rolled back in, and my nephew Neil came down from Victoria. We're down here hunting, trying to get him a buck. And there was a box in there with a half-gallon of tequila and a half-gallon of Jack Daniels. So I automatically handed a half-gallon of Jack Daniels to Teddy. He said, here you go, man. He took it over to his house. And then my wife says, well, where's the box of liquor? I said, well, I got tequila. I put it in the liquor cabinet. She says, where's the Jack? I said, well, I gave it to Ted because that's what Teddy drinks. I just figured, hey, man, time to buy Teddy some whiskey. She goes, that's for my brother. I said, God damn. I said, I hate to be an Indian giver Ted walked in about 30 minutes later. I said, Ted, I got bad news for you. And he looked at me with that somber look. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? I said, that bottle of Jack Daniels, I got to have it back. That's for Mitch, Kristen's brother. It wasn't for you. And Ted was like, God damn. I just thought, I didn't ask for any Jack, but I thought it was a hell of a gesture. When someone just gives you a half gallon of damn liquor, you take it.
Oh, yeah. I guess my first thought was, well, I guess we're not slowing down anytime soon.
God damn, man. That Crown Royal Black was going down pretty good last night. I only had a couple of them. But, man, every time I go over to mix a drink, Ted has a chocolate lab named Cassie. Big water buffalo. Every time she comes over, she gets in our water dish and just devours all the water. And I don't know how Ted got her on ice cubes, but every time I make a drink, she's got to come over there. And it's like when those deer feeders go off and the deer come running to the corn. If I rattle around in that ice box, here comes Cassie. She's got to have a couple ice cubes. So, goddamn, I fired up my ice cube maker, and we're good to go over there. How was your morning hunt today, Ted?
You know, it was pretty slow. I mean, the weather was nice. Just the deer didn't cooperate. I didn't see the volume of deer that I was expecting.
Man, they were moving late.
Yeah.
Goddamn, we were sitting there. The feeder went off. I need to go over and change that timer. And me and Neil was sitting there waiting on a 9-point buck. Been wanting him to try to take. He didn't show up. But some big deer came in, but they were moving late. Had a bunch of young stuff out there, and it was just slow. What was the moon last night? We're coming off of, was full a few days ago. It was probably 3/4 or half,
Dude, I don't even know. That's one thing I haven't been paying attention to is phase of the moon.
Dude, here's one thing I haven't been paying attention to. Anything. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the world. My nephew came over the other day. I said, what day of the week is it? And I'm in it for a shoot. You remember that scene in Jeremiah Johnson? I think Jeremiah asked, was it Bear Claw? I said,
what year is it? Or something like that?
Yeah, they didn't know what month it is. I don't know what day it is. I know it's December because I just had my birthday. Today's my anniversary. We got married on the 21st of December. I don't know, 6 years ago. We've been together 12. So we're celebrating that here in a little bit. Maybe roll around, drink some margaritas or some Bloody Marys and just take a ride around the ranch before we get into a deer stand. So I got that going for me, Ted.
We don't need much of an occasion to drink.
It seems to be that way. We're fixing to get to some questions here in a minute that you guys sent in a question at SteveAustinShow.com. I sent a message out on Twitter, Steve Austin BSR, Ted Fowler 361. You guys sent in some questions. A lot of them are about training, all that stuff. And it was like, God damn.
What's that?
I was training. And we slowed down like we said we were.
Yeah.
And then we got back on the gas pedal. And I tell you what, man, you just turn into a different animal during deer season. No pun intended. I mean, just because you're out here in the middle of nowhere. My wife goes back and forth to get groceries. You go to Rockport about every 2 weeks or whatever to pay your bills and do the things you got to do, and then you zip right back. But we're in go mode. I mean, we wake up, we hunt. I'm up at 5:20 every morning, drink my 2 cups of coffee, get in a deer stand, come back, eat breakfast, and then jump on a tractor or just get some kind of equipment and go to work on the ranch. And then by 4, we're starting to get ready to get back into a deer stand. Night comes, the drinks roll, dinner, a football game or something on Monday, Thursday, or Sunday. So I don't even know what's going on in the world. But goddamn, I always tell people, when I come down here for Texas deer hunting for the 2.5 months that I'm down here, people just think, oh, yeah, man, that's Steve's vacation. But technically, it is designated as my vacation time. But I work harder down here than I do all year, whether it's Broken Skull Challenge or whatever the fuck I do in L.A.
But, dude, we were talking about the second half of dove season opening up. And now that you're dialed in with the shotgun, going and whacking some doves, and, hell, the season opened 4 days ago, and we still ain't gone.
I know, we're seeing a bunch of birds, but by the time we get through doing all the shit that we're doing, it's like the last thing I want to do is pick up my shotgun and go chase birds.
Well, when we get done here, we're going to go trim some trees and do some stuff. So.
Chainsaw work, load up the mules, put in a ladder. I put that chainsaw in the back of my mule yesterday. I was going to ride over there. And I did, and I looked at what I wanted to cut, but then I was like, man, I don't want to stand in the back of my mule. I can stand on the roofs. That's why those metal roofs put on there. But my dogs are in there, and I know Moolah wasn't going to like that chainsaw none.
Right.
I was trying to get them out of the house while Chris was going to get groceries. So I figured we'd take a ladder over there and get some of those low branches that hang up on the cab of the tractor. You can't get close enough to them. So we've cut all those summits down to make the place look nicer on the entrance end. And then, man, get ready for, another night in the stands. But, man, the rut has really started to kick off. I don't think it's full-blown. It's definitely started. It ain't hot and heavy yet, but, I mean, they're chasing, they're running. Saw a damn good buck on a fence line the other day. I saw another buck on the other fence line. There's a buck behind the house going into the barn. I was telling Teddy, I said, God damn it, man. I said, there is a good buck right there by the barn with a doe. And, I'm thinking, Ted's thinking, another deer story. But you saw the summit.
I saw him.
Hell of a damn deer.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some of the best bucks on the ranch hanging around the compound.
Yeah, right here. You can see them from the living room,
Well, we were. We was watching a 160 class buck 3 days ago chasing doe. And that wasn't nothing compared to the buck that was over there. So,
correct.
Goddamn, I think I'm just going to get me some office chairs and just set them on outside the barn. We ain't got to go nowhere. I'm going to climb up in the tractor, hunt out of the Komodo.
There you go.
God damn it. Teddy, I had some people to send in some questions. You ready to answer a couple questions?
Yeah.
Hey, before we get started, though, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. This is the December 22nd podcast, and Happy Holidays and all that bullshit, because you really don't tell anybody anymore, Teddy. People get mad if you say Merry Christmas because of religious beliefs or whatever it is. You have Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I remember I was watching the news last year, the year before last, and the satanic worshipers wanted to cancel Christmas because it interfered with their beliefs. It's like, Christmas is a tradition. I don't believe in Santa Claus, but I mean, it's a fucking tradition. It's just like, standing up and saying the Pledge of Allegiance, this tradition. These people that get on there and say, well, I think Christmas is interfering with me because, I don't believe in all that bullshit. And so they're protesting Christmas. How fucking stupid can someone be? Just don't pay attention to it. Don't turn your TV on and just mind your own business. If you want to worship Satan or do whatever you do to celebrate your form of Christmas or whatever the fuck you want to do, if it's just another day of the week, then let it be. Because you get all these cocksuckers start coming out and they start saying, this is infringing on me because I don't believe in it. Hey, man, it's the holiday season. It's about fucking tradition.
Dude, it's like the national anthem at the ball game. If you don't believe in it, just stand there. You know what I mean? Don't protest it. Prayers in school. Stuff like that. Everybody's got an opinion. God damn, if the show that's on the television offends you, turn the fucking TV off. If you're offended by, a brand of music or, a singer, don't listen to them. It's that simple. You ain't got to protest. You ain't got to say that they're screwing up your life. Just don't let it affect you. Don't participate in it.
Yeah, man, I don't give a shit if someone's going to be like a Black Christmas. If they're, I don't give a fuck. Go do whatever you want to do, and it ain't going to offend me because I don't give a fuck. But it's these people all of a sudden they start causing all this noise about Christmas. Like, man, dude, I've been doing Christmas since I was a kid.
Oh, dude, they're attention whores, man. They're just trying to get a little bit of fame, get their name on the map for a brief instant for a stupid ass thing. That's my opinion.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it always, whatever floats your boat, go do it. But Christmas is a tradition, so just fucking chill, idiots. Hey, here's the damn question. Let's launch into this thing, Teddy. Let's kick it in overdrive. This is from Ralph over in the San Antonio, Texas area, right down the road. Steve, big fan of the show. Been listening since last summer. Love the Unleashed shows with Ted. Hey, man, last year you had the Cocksucker of the Week. What happened to that? Well, the Cocksucker of the Week award just became such a deal where normally there's people cutting me off in traffic and stuff like that. And then there's a lot of Cocksuckers of the Week I could feasibly choose that are in the news or in the media. But, man, on my podcast, as much when I'm talking about shitty drivers and stuff like that, that's one thing. But I don't ever want to call anybody out specifically and drop anybody in the grease or call them, the Cocksucker of the Week's pretty damn strong. So yeah. It's just not where I'm at in my life right now. I'll talk shit and do all that stuff, but I'm not going to name any celebrities for doing stupid shit. And there's a lot of them doing stupid shit. But so I just kind of cut the Cocksucker of the Week show, out of the show, and it is what it is. But I'll bring them back on occasion when someone cuts me off or something like that. But I just don't like to name names. That's not who and what I want to be here on the podcast calling other cats out. Hey, Steve, why don't you guys talk about some myths and conspiracies? Thoughts on JFK, Area 51, landing on the moon, Hitler, anything people may or may not believe? Matt. Well, I mean, goddamn, it's hard for me to sit here and just read this sentence and, I didn't get on the internet and research the JFK thing. Everybody talking about, was it 1, 2, 3
yeah,
shooters?
multiple shooters.
Was it Lee Harvey Oswald? Was it the government? What's your thoughts on that?
I think
you even know?
I think it was Lee Harvey Oswald. I think he acted alone.
But what are your thoughts when they pick up that rifle and they said the rifle's a piece of shit and it was a bolt, and how do you get so many shots off, or 2, 3 shots, 4 shots, whatever it was, in such rapid fire fashion?
I think he's just got lucky. I don't think it was great training. I just think it was dumb luck that he hit him as many times as he did with the weapon that he was using.
I don't know what happened, because I watch all the specials when they have them, and they show that footage. It's terrible, but I don't know what the fuck happened. Area 51, I think it's bullshit. Area 51?
That out there in New Mexico?
Yeah.
With the UFOs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Landing on the moon?
I think they did that.
No, man. I really, truly don't think we landed on the moon. And I get a lot of heat for saying that. I think them astronauts kayfabed all that shit. I just don't think we had the technology in 62, whenever it was, to land on the moon, and then for that son of a bitch to take off and come back down to Earth and just land unscathed, and for those guys to crawl out of that little thing. And you see the gimmick pictures and the way the flag was, all the lighting, this, that, or whatever. I don't know, man. I ain't buying it.
I never put that much thought into it. I just figured, I knew that there was some type of conspiracy theory that it was, shot in a studio somewhere, but I never paid any attention.
Well, for instance, let's look at, you're a fan of old vehicles just as I am. Man, I had a 65 Ford step-side pickup and a 66 Ford fleet-side pickup. 3-speed on the column, 6-cylinder. So if that was 65, what kind of fucking invention did they have in 62? Because I think that's when they went to the moon. I got my computer sitting right in front of me, but I'm not going to look it up on the internet. So 62, a 62 spaceship traveling I don't know how many thousands of miles to the moon, landing on the son of a bitch, and then coming off the moon. And those guys had enough oxygen and all that stuff, and then they was able to land on Earth and then get out of the thing and start walking around as, one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
Right.
Paraphrased, I don't know what the fuck said, but come on, man, a 62 spaceship going to the moon. We look at the moon every goddamn night up here.
Yeah.
And so the man walked on the moon in a moon suit. I mean, what was they shitting in? What were they pissing in? What kind of grub did they take? And that's just the minutia.
Isn't that why they invented
taking a shit in space. If I had to take a shit in space, there's going to be some guys in that damn spaceship that ain't going to like me very much.
It'd be a little hard to crack a window.
Yeah. And then how many of them was in there?
There 2 or 3?
Yes, they had about 2, 3, or 4.
Neil Armstrong.
Oh, one of them just died.
Was that
goddamn
Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we can't remember the damn
No,
astronauts.
fuck.
But really, so now that I've talking about,
Can
you see a pimento cheese sandwich and saran wrap floating across the fucking? Hey man, give me that. Okay, I got this spacesuit on. How do I open this cocksucker?
Dude, that's why they invented Tang, the drink of the astronauts, right?
Oh come on, motherfucker. Okay, so say it was a ham and cheese sandwich and it's floating by and you grab it. So how are you gonna eat it with that space helmet on?
Well, I thought that the inside of the capsule was pressurized, so, they didn't have to wear their helmets. Granted, they ain't got no gravity, so they're floating around, but they didn't have to wear their helmets because there was air in there.
Oh, I know. I was just ribbing you, but I mean, I'm just not buying that.
What's the deal with the flag in the picture?
Oh, it just kind of looks like it's gimmicked up. You ever seen the pictures of the flag on the moon?
Well, the wind ain't blowing up there, right?
The shadows going and everything like that.
No, I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, I just don't think they crammed a couple cats in a spaceship and just went to the moon. That's just me. And that's why this goddamn show of mine ain't never won no awards. I just don't think we went to the moon.
Dude, we can't make a cell phone call to each other, and we're 40 yards away. And we can't do that, but we can put a guy on the moon. Yeah, you may be right.
Why you and me calling each other on the telephone 40 yards away comes into the equation. But I really would
I'm talking about
pimento cheese across the fucking spaceship. Yeah. Neil, coming at you. Pimento cheese. All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, but so as far as the conspiracy, JFK, I don't know, man. That was a wicked deal. Don't know how that got set up. Area 51's bullshit. Land on the moon, I'm not buying. Hitler was a piece of shit, so I won't even get into him. Hey, he'll be my cocksucker of the week. How's that? Happy Merry Christmas to you, Matt. Thanks for the questions. I'm sorry we couldn't really go into more detail with some scientific research, but this is my vacation. These 2.5 months that I hang out here at the Broken Skull Ranch. And I still got to turn in my podcast, but I ain't got time to research that kind of shit. I got too much work to do. We're fixing to go cut some trees down with the chainsaw. So let's move on to the next question, Teddy.
Yep.
Steve, my name is Christian from Brownsville, Texas. Hope you're having a good Christmas. My question is, do you still have all your merchandise from your wrestling career? Your Austin 316 will always be a personal favorite of mine. Merry Christmas. No, man, I ain't got no merchandise. I ain't got shit. Every now and then, some of those companies that make those dolls send me, some of the action figures and stuff like that. So there's a couple of them in a bin over there, I think in this double wide over here. But, nah, man, I don't keep none of that stuff. I got fond memories of it. At one time, I tried to collect a lot of that stuff because I knew it wouldn't last forever. Many years ago, it was probably 10 years ago, I was out there in Los Angeles, and a friend of mine was a friend with Gene Simmons from KISS, bass player, one of the founders of Paul Stanley. KISS is one of my favorite bands of all time. And I went over to meet Gene, and, man, I walked in his office. And of course, he's got a beautiful, about a 10,000 square foot mansion, and I guess it's in Beverly Hills. And we went to his office, and, man, Gene just had that whole thing just tricked out because those guys were some of the kingpins and some of the front runners in the merchandise game. They were the kings of swag. And, from everything from condoms to the casket and all the other knick-knack and cool stuff. But he had it all displayed in a real cool fashion. But me... not really a collector of my stuff. So, no, man, I ain't got too much bullshit. Ted, do I got a bunch of bullshit around here?
No.
I got it. We're sitting right here. There's a WrestleMania poster from 14 on the wall, framed. It's myself, Mike Tyson, and Shawn Michaels. That's hanging right here in the kitchen where we're at over at Teddy's place. And there's some other framed pictures in here. But other than that, man, if you walked in my house in L.A., you wouldn't even know I was ever in the wrestling business. There's a milk poster, and there got milk. But other than that, man, no.
All right, Teddy, before we go any further, I need to say thank you to the sponsors who make it possible for me to open up 2 cans of audio whoop-ass for you for free every single week. So thanks to Helix. Everyone on this great green earth is a unique individual. You don't walk like anyone else or talk like anyone else or even sleep like anyone else. So why is your mattress one size fits all? It doesn't have to be like that anymore. Thanks to Helix. Go to helix.com, answer a few simple questions, and they'll use their proprietary algorithm to run a 3D biomechanical model of your body to create the most comfortable mattress you've ever slept on. Helix worked with the world's leading sleep scientists to develop this formula so that everyone can get an affordable, customized mattress and enjoy the best sleep of their lives. Helix even customizes each side of the mattress for all you couples out there. And here's the best part. You have 100 nights to try it out. And if you don't love your custom mattress, Helix will pick it up for free and give you a full refund, no questions asked. So go to helixsleep.com/podcast and get $50 off your order. That's helixsleep.com/podcast. helixsleep.com/podcast.
Yo, how do I get people to listen to our show? I know it's dope.
Well, do you talk about wrestling, boxing, UFC, football, politics, and pop culture?
Yes.
If any of that is of interest to you, then listen to Keeping It 100 with Conan.
Steve Austin Unleashed.
Hey, man, let's move on to the next one. I'm sitting here watching season 1 of Tough Enough, and I forgot you had a guest appearance. My question is, were you purposefully staying in character during your visit with those kids? You seem kind of cold and straight to the point. After listening to your podcast for so long, that doesn't seem like you. Jamie from Winchester, Virginia. Well, yeah, man, that was in character because those cats were coming in. They was about to get into the business,
And I wouldn't go in there and just shoot the breeze with them and start cutting one-liners and jokes with them. They were there to learn about the business of professional wrestling. And back then, man, that was a very serious time in the business of pro wrestling. I took being Stone Cold Steve Austin very seriously. So these cats going to come on TV and try to get a rub or learn about the business. I had to be business, and I wasn't cold or to the point. I gave them straight up, 411 about what to expect and what this business was about, So that, these days if someone's going to try to, well, you watched, go back to the 2011 season of Tough Enough that I hosted then. I was serious with those cats as well, probably a little bit more lenient. But nonetheless, if you're trying to get into the business, if I was going to have a school, we'd be talking just like I'm talking now. But on camera back then, when you showed up, you were who you were. And I took being Stone Cold Steve Austin very seriously. I lived, ate, slept, and breathed the business. And that's why I think I had a pretty decent run. But yeah, man, I wasn't trying to be cold-blooded to those people, but that's how the business rolls back in. Hey, Steve, just a suggestion. We carry radios in the woods or marsh. If cell phones die or no service, those radios are perfect. I can't imagine how nervous Teddy had to be when looking for your dad. Plus, you can't fuck up a radio message by just saying, we got hassles. Anyway, just a thought. Ryan over in Baton Rouge. I appreciate it, Ryan, coming there from Louisiana. Teddy, we tried the walkie-talkie systems, 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
When I first bought this place, we had some badass radios that a former their veteran gave us. And the range on those things back then is probably not what the range is these days. If you catty-corner on this ranch from the southwest corner to the northeast corner, man, that's 5, 6, 7 miles.
Yeah, they weren't working. If we could see each other, like when we're you were in the tractor and I'm, hooking up that pipe to drag it, we could communicate as long as we could see each other. But once you broke that line of sight, those things didn't work very well.
We gave it a try, though, man.
Yeah.
I had the Chargers, had all the whole rig and everything, and we spent some money on them. But, man, just the cell phone's the best thing to do out here. My dad just happened to forget his, but we make it a point now just because, man, you take it for granted. You think, it's a Broken Skull Ranch. Nothing's going to happen.
A lot can happen, man.
There's a lot can happen out here, man. I'll tell you what, I was walking up to Tombstone the other day where you come upon that rattlesnake, and, the fact that you had come upon one right there, I'd come up on that one turnbuckle last year. I was real leery just because, luckily, we got a cold streak in.
Correct.
But that being said, just because a cold streak comes in doesn't mean your rattlesnake's all of a sudden going to go away. You're likely less to see one. But, dude, when you see one, or if you was to get bit, hey, you got hassles.
Oh, yeah. And now it's warming up during the day, so I don't think they're full hibernation mode. They're hunkering down at night when it's cold, but I think during the warm days they're coming out.
That's another thing. If you get a deer down, if you get one that runs into the brush and you need help pulling that thing out, these deer out here, on the hoof, they're probably pushing, 175?
175.
Give or take. But, man, that's a lot of weight to try to drag through. If you walk through the brush that is out here at the South Texas, the Broken Skull Ranch, but South Texas in general, if you fly over this stuff and you get an overhead view in an aerial situation, it looks like, hey, man, that stuff shouldn't be much of a problem.
Correct.
But I can drop you off at any place on this ranch and say, okay, you go from point A, and I want you to go over to point B. And, mister, if you ain't got a big-ass pair of welding gloves, a Carhartt, something on your face, your neck, and some those double tough, what are those chaps?
Like brush pants?
Brush pants.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you'll find out how tough this country is ASAP. And all of a sudden you get out there, or maybe you get turned around, it gets dark, your flashlight goes out, you lose a blood trail. There's all kinds of shit that can happen. So you got to have some communication out here.
Dude, we always are texting, back and forth. What are you seeing? Heard a shot. Was that you like this morning?
Yeah.
I thought it was you. You thought it was me. It was, another ranch. But where are you going? Keeping tabs on everybody. We know all the time, except, with your dad, because we couldn't get a hold of him. But 99% of the time, we know where everybody is on the ranch, what they're doing, where they're going. And that's just good safety.
Well, it's good safety, but also, with the safety, like if I start off at a particular stand, same with Teddy, things ain't going very good or it's time to move locations and try to get to another stand, I'm telling Teddy my next move on the checkerboard, and the same him. So he knows where I'm at. I know where he's at. We ain't going to be shooting at each other because we ain't in the same neck of the woods.
Correct.
One of us will either stay on the east side, one of us will stay on the west side and work those stands in vertical fashion. We'll go in, see what's at the stand, see if there's anything there. If not, come out and hit another one, try to roll. And, we're trying to take down a few does right now, some cold bucks. If an opportunity presents itself, or hogs, something like that, the other person ain't going to be in harm's way because they ain't going to be nowhere close.
All right.
Hey, man, but appreciate that. Radios are a good idea, but they didn't work out here. Teddy, you was married to a dental hygienist. Check this story out. Hey, Steve, early this month, I went to the dentist for the first time in 15 years. God damn it. The reason for not going was I just really had a genuine fear of going. To cut a long story short, it's going to take 5 appointments and around 1,400 pounds to fix my teeth. My question is, are you and your wife and Teddy regular visitors to the dentist? Also, please tell all your listeners to get their fucking ass to the dentist, as it really is no big deal. I myself will never miss a checkup. Thanks, love the show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Andy from Bournemouth, England. Hey, Andy, I just went to the dentist a couple months ago, and I had to do a double visit where I had to scrape that shit off my teeth, out of my gum line, whatever it was. And I thought I was doing a pretty good job brushing my choppers. But I told that lady as she was cleaning my teeth, when I wore out that one drill bit and she put in that other one, I'm thinking, and she was kayfabing me, but I knew what was up. I had so much shit on my teeth, she had to change out her bits. And then I had to do that double back-to-back appointment on 2 consecutive Fridays so they could do the 2 quadrants and then the other 2 quadrants. You know the deal, Teddy. You married to and divorced from a dental hygienist. So, no, man, I take my stupid ass to the dentist now, and I told that lady I got my electric toothbrush. I talked about it on the last podcast. I was brushing my teeth this morning, Teddy, and like I told you, when you push too hard at red lights, but when you just turn it on, it's a blue glow. So I had the blue glow going because it just automatically lights up. Then I'm pushing too hard, so it looked like I had blue lights flash and red lights flash. It looked like I was getting pulled over by the cops when I'm brushing my fucking teeth. 5:20 this morning, like I said, it was a hard time getting up. Motherfuck. I said, okay, I'm going to get a fucking ticket. So, no, man, me and my wife is super diligent. She goes like 4 times a year to the dentist. She is obsessed with clean teeth. After what I went through and what that lady told me about flossing and all that shit, yeah, I'm on top of it. Teddy, you got the big-ass pearly whites over there. You take care of those cocksuckers, huh?
Yeah, but the last time I went to the dentist was when Christy was living with me. Then when she, packed up and went back to Arizona because she was managing that dental office. Yeah, I ain't going to Corpus to do that. I went there because that's where she was working. And I have not found another dentist in Rockport.
Did you ever get your teeth x-rayed? They x-rayed my teeth the other day just to take a look at them. And you know what? The lady who was cleaning my teeth, she's real badass. She's really good and gentle. She says, you know what? You don't have any cavities. You just got to start using your floss and whatever, get all that shit out of my gums. But she says, that one cavity that you had filled, goes, that wasn't a cavity. I said, that was a dentist trying to get money off of you.
Oh, really?
So I got a filling in my tooth that wasn't even a cavity, and some dude was just trying to make some money off of me. This is probably going back 35, 40 years. Cocksucker. He's another cocksucker of the week. He's the cocksucker of my life. Because every time I open my mouth real wide, you can see that little black spot back there where that filling is. Well, it wasn't no cavity. What do you think about that? It's one thing when you go to a mechanic and a mechanic starts jerry-rigging around with your damn motor going, oh, well, you're going to need a new master cylinder or this, that, or whatever. Yeah. Fucking dentist trying to make us pay off and saying I got a cavity, drilling in on my teeth and putting some Bondo in that motherfucker. Dude, fuck you.
That is brutal.
God damn it. Motherfucker. I could have ruined my professional wrestling career. Fuck, I think I had Colgate. They was fixing to give me an endorsement. Maybe Crest was going to come in, but they saw that fucking dental report and said, hey, we got to scrap this guy. It was a deal breaker.
He's a liability.
Yeah. Hi, Steve and Teddy. I'm Jordan from Owensboro, Kentucky. Love your podcast. My question is, Steve, do you ever take Moolah, your other dog, hunting? I don't hear you talk much about her on your podcast. Don't talk about Moolah too much on the podcast with respect to hunting because normally I only take Hershey because I can carry her up there put my gun in first, then carry her up, and it's a one-time deal. Then I carry her down and I go back and get my gun. With 2 dogs, that'd be 2 trips, and theoretically one of the dogs could try to come out of the deer stand. And Moolah doesn't like loud noises. The other day I was riding around on my Kawasaki mule, and I was coming in the backyard. I had both dogs with me. I was carrying my rifle, and Moolah sits in the front with me. It's a Pro FXT, so Hershey's in the back seat. She likes having the back seat to herself. And I came across a deer with a bad horn. I was going to take that deer out. And so, bam, I shot that deer, and I looked around because I was right here by the house. Mm-hmm. My wife wasn't here. Moolah had hauled ass to the door. She was 70 yards away when she heard that shot run off. So Moolah doesn't like loud noises, so I don't really take her deer hunting. Hershey, we've been hunting together for 9 years. So, yeah, that's why I don't talk about Moolah a whole lot. But I love her to death, and we go out on a buggy every single day. And she loves riding on that Kawasaki mule, and she puts her front legs on my thigh, and I put my arm around her, and I hold her right there. And then Hershey will either stand up or just lay down in that back seat. But that's a story on that. Not to mention that one time I shot 6 shots at that deer stand, and I'd parked my mule about 70 yards away, and I started looking around, and boy, there's Hershey right down at the bottom of the stand because I hadn't carried either one of them up yet. I had some quick shots, and Hershey just down there, no sweat,
right,
just hanging out. Moolah was by the buggy. I said, God damn it, she don't like no loud noises, so that's what's up with Moolah. Hey, Steve, you talked about having some of your vests back in the day, the ones you used to wear to the ring. My question is, what is your most prized piece of wrestling memorabilia that you have from yours or something that someone gave you? That's coming from Matt. Hey, Matt, you know, that gold chain that Brian got me back in the day as a Hollywood Blonde, that's still pretty cool. I got that on the door of my safe where I keep all my guns and Los Angeles. And all those vests that I wore, I gave 2 of those vests away, but I got all those vests at the house. And I would probably say that along with the Intercontinental Championship, when I got dropped on my head and damn near got paralyzed, would be some of my favorite things. But they're all put away. They're either in a safe or they're in a closet, but I don't display them. But those would be the things I think I treasure the most from back in the day. Hey, Steve, Kristen, and Ted. Chris is next door over there with my nephew, Neil. He's down here. Love the show so much over here in the United Kingdom. I really enjoyed talking about your dog, Steve. I can tell they mean a lot to you. This year, I sadly lost my chocolate lab called Bobby. After 9.5 years of being my sidekick, he got very sick, and I had to make a difficult decision to have him put to sleep while he was in my arms. I miss him every day and would love it if you give him a shout-out on your show. That's coming from Ash. Ash sent me a picture of that big old chocolate lab Bobby. He was a good-looking dog, and I can tell that was a picture when he was starting to get up on his years. But shout-out to Bobby. Ash, I'm sorry you had to put that dog down. Teddy, I've known Teddy to have to put down a dog or 2 in my time that I've known him, and as tough and as much of a guy as he is, he was crushed. And, you know, with Brio and Sam and Shona, who we had to put down in the past few months, boy, it's tough. So a shout to old Bobby. He looked like he was a damn good dog. Hey, I'm a guy who grew up loving the Attitude Era. People always talk about Shawn Michaels being the greatest in-ring performer and you being the biggest star and face of the Attitude Era and the main man. Cena's not on a full schedule. Do you think AJ Styles can fill both these holes? Would you put him in Michaels' league, and do you think he could be the next top star? Man, Teddy, have you been watching much Monday Night Raw or any of the pay-per-views to watch what AJ Styles is doing?
No, I have not. I haven't.
But you just kind of been away from the wrestling game a little bit.
Correct.
And I tell you what, AJ Styles got all the talent in the world, and but they just got to keep pushing him hard, give him good wins. He's capable of carrying anybody to a 5-star match. Shawn had an incredible type of charisma, a little bit different presence. Can he be the next top star? Yeah, but you got to make him the next top star. And AJ's been around for a long time. He's probably been in the ring 18 years. When you watch him work, you wouldn't think he was an ounce of pain, but I'm sure he's feeling some of the bumps that he's got on his bump ticket. But I think the world of the guy. But it's not what I think. It's what Vince and the WWE thinks as far as how far they will push him. For the role that he's done, for the job that he's done and the role that he's in, I think he's done fantastic. And it makes me feel good to see that guy having the success that he's having, being that he's been in the game for so long and has paid so many dues, and now he's working on top in the top promotion in the world. So we'll see what happens, but right now I still believe the guy's totally kicking ass.
We spoke about AJ Styles last week, and I was just amazed at how long he has been in the business. I had no idea that he had that long of a career already. He doesn't seem like he's that old of a guy.
No, well, I mean, he's 38, 39, give or take. But, man, he's a bumper.
Right.
I mean, high flyer, high-risk stuff, very precise. He's awesome. Great psychology. You can see a little bit of Shawn Michaels in his work, I think. But he's his own man for sure. But he's a talented guy. And, boy, I tell you what, just see what WWE continues to do with him. I'm just happy the guy's working on top because he deserves to work on top. Here's one coming from Juan Marscal. He says, I'm currently on vacation on the East Coast and have visited famous landmarks in D.C., Philly, and New York. You've obviously been to hundreds of towns in the globe. Have you ever visited the White House, Lincoln Memorial, Liberty Bell, Empire State Building? If yes, what's your favorite spot? Man, I tell you what, Juan, I did get a chance to travel the world. And back when I first got into business, I would make it a point to go to some of the cool things that were around. The Shed Museum in Chicago, I was pretty intrigued by that, and a couple other spots that I can't remember. But then that was when I first got on the road. And then after you've been on the road for a couple of years, and this is speaking for me, man, I don't give a shit what there is, and this would due respect to any kind of landmarks in the United States. You're so busy trying to take care of the grind, take care of the business, get to the next spot, get to the gym, take care of your life, that I didn't really have any time to sightsee. But I know that there's a lot of people in the business that will go out of their way to go see a landmark, and I think that's really, really cool if you get an opportunity. Obviously, when we went over to some of the places overseas, to Germany, we went to a couple of places that were very interesting, and it was cool to see some of those places. And there's a very, eerie feeling when you go to some of that stuff there and see some of that stuff from the days back in, I guess, World War II or
World War II, correct.
So that was some heavy-duty stuff. I did get a chance to see that, and that was really, really cool. But now, man, and that was kind of a group thing as well. We did some stuff over in Kuwait that was pretty badass, and some of the bombings that went over there, some of the hotels we stayed at. But nonetheless, man, I just stick to the task at hand, and just these days, Teddy, you would be driving down a country road and you'll see a sign said historical landmark 1 mile. It's like, man, as much of a type A personality as I am, man, I won't stop for gas until I got to. If I got to piss, I'll hold that damn piss as long as I can until I got to stop. When I see a fucking historical landmark on the side of the road, I'll be damned if I'm going to pull over and say, okay, well, here in 1876. What about you in the historical landmarks? Not so fast, my friend?
No, here, take a picture of me with my phone, next to this bronze plaque. No, that's not my deal either. Yeah, I mean, we went all the way to Alvin and back, and, never raised a thought about, hey, dude, can we pull over here and take a picture? Look at this,
But there was 2 badass antique shops on Highway 6, remember? I said, God damn it, if you were my wife, we'd probably stop. And maybe then we might not stop. But those look like 2 good antique stores because they had some good shit in the front of them. I wanted to stop, but we were on a mission from God to go over there and get back and make sure we got to a hunting stand by day's end, and we were.
I'll tell you, how happy your wife would have been if we'd have pulled back in that BMW with a brand new chair tied on the roof of that thing to replace the one the dog chewed up. That would have got me out of the doghouse.
But I wanted to go in there and see if it had any good signs. Any neon clock, something like that. But, last thing I need is another neon clock. But no, man, I just got to haul ass. And me and my wife, we said that same thing every year. Hey, this time when we drive down to the ranch, we've been flying lately, but we'll say this time when we drive down, we're just going to take our time, hit a couple of antique stores, and take it easy. Mm-hmm. Same old shit, Mr. Leadfoot, 85 miles an hour, cruise control, radar. The RV, recreational vehicle, is a DV, destination vehicle. I might as well put a spoiler on that motherfucker and a hood scoop. Take that speed limiter off so I can go 95. The kid ain't got time to stop. And you know what? I always listen to one of my favorite songs from Alabama is I'm in a Hurry, Can't Slow Down. And that's the damn theme of my life. I want to slow down and try to enjoy some shit, but I'm always in a hurry to do it.
You know, the only time I travel is to go somewhere to hunt, go somewhere to fish. Used to be to go somewhere to play ball. You know, I never, the Northeast, you know, New York, places like that, Philadelphia to see the Liberty Bell. I have no desire to do that. But, you know, the older I get, I may have missed a boat. You know, I probably should have paid a little more attention to my travel schedule and, you know, done a little more recreational traveling.
Is there anything on your bucket list of places you'd like to see?
Man, I'd like to go over to the UK, you know, just to try some of that different beer and see some of the shit they eat there, you know.
I like it over there. They got some good stuff. They got good beer for sure. Breakfast is a little bit different. They always eat those bangers and mash or whatever. It's like pork and beans, and eggs are different.
For breakfast?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you get pork and beans a lot over there.
Oof.
But the beer is the best part about UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the people. Man, you got some great wrestling crowds over there, great buildings. Man, I used to love going over there we'd always spend a week in the UK and a week in Germany. Whether the first one was Germany or the second one was Germany, whatever. Every place we stopped at, we'd be on that tour bus. Good guys and bus A, bad guys and bus B, kayfabe. And, you know, I was always on the heel bus. And, boy, that motherfucker was partying like it was a fucking full-blown anything goes. And every place we stopped, whether it was UK or Germany, the hotels had the bar open because we were coming in at just like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. When we rolled in, the bar was open. The boys at the bar. And there was everything going on in the bus. And we had a designated driver, bus driver. And that's good beer, a lot of history over there. So, yeah, that was fun. Hey, all you comedy fans out there, and I'm guessing that's pretty much everyone listening to this here award-winning podcast that ain't never won a damn thing. I got something for you. CISO. S-E-E-S-O. CISO. CISO is the new ad-free streaming service bringing you all the comedy you can handle for just $3.99. You get a near-endless supply of top-shelf stuff, exclusive originals, face-melting stand-up, next-day late-night shows, and a catalog of classics. And with CISO, you can get your laugh on anytime, anywhere. They got every episode of Saturday Night Live, including brand new episodes the day after they air. CISO has The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, the entire Monty Python catalog, and classic TV shows like 30 Rock and Parks and Recreation. And like I said, they got originals too, like Hidden America with Jonah Ray. This is CISO's fake travel show where the places are real, but the people are not. And right now, you can try CISO free for 2 months when you use promo code PodcastOne at checkout. Just go to SEESO.com and sign up for 2 months free with promo code PodcastOne at checkout. That's CISO.com, promo code PodcastOne. Let's get back to these questions. Quick question from a business standpoint. Do you think it's a good decision to give all WWE talent a mandatory 4-week leave period yearly to come off the road, catch their breath, and redirect themselves from a creative standpoint? I just think the travel of 4 or 5 days a week for 52 weeks wears on both your body and mind. Recharging your batteries once a year for a month would benefit the talent and possibly produce a better in-ring product. From Jason Willard in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Well, man, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to sit here and be an advocate for a mandatory 4-week leave period, but, you know, yeah, I think it'd probably be a pretty good idea just to give guys or gals a little bit of a break, step in there and take a load off of them and chill out for a little bit. Whether you give them 4 weeks solid or, 2 weeks here and then 2 weeks there, I mean, the business of pro wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, it's a grind. And those men and women are working their asses off. And so sometimes when I look back at the way I was running, pretty damn fast, if I'd have had a little stop down there, it'd been pretty cool. But you're never going to get one of the boys or one of the girls to say, hey, man, go in there to see the old man, I'm burned out. Vince McMahon is a workaholic. He sleeps 4 hours a night. The last thing that you want to tell the old man is that I'm burned out. I need a break.
Yeah. Hey, I need 4 weeks off.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be out,
and
off
also
the radar.
You're taking yourself, all of a sudden you start getting a little push, and then the company's really relying on you. You're coming around and you say, you know what, I need a break. Well, that ain't a good message. And Triple H was a road warrior, too. I know he's taken more of a hands-on role there in working with talent and the head of talent. So, Triple H was a road warrior. He wasn't a drinker. He was in the gym. He studied the business. So, he's not a burnout guy either. And that guy had a high work ethic before he got into the business and started dealing, side by side with Vince. So he's a lifer in the business, and he's a high work ethic guy. So he's another guy. When you say burnout, I know he's just going to look at you with that deadpan look, but he's thinking, all right, this motherfucker, yeah, maybe he's not cut out for this. So that's a great idea. The company would have to implement that because you're not going to get too many of the and there's always the arbitrary knucklehead who will say that. But usually when they do, that's when their push comes to a pretty quick, abrupt stop. And this motherfucker might not be cut out for this. Here's one, Teddy. A few months ago, you referenced Buffalo Jim's wrestling school that was once in Vegas a long time ago. I lived in Vegas for over 30 years, and I once attended a show at his boat shop and wrestling school. I also remember seeing his low-budget commercials. Anyway, when you mentioned him, you kind of chuckled and started to say something but quickly stopped, as if the story would take the current conversation off track. Do you have any Buffalo Jim / Las Vegas stories that involve a global icon and a national treasure worthy of this award-winning podcast you can share? Swig a beer. You put the initial M. M, Buffalo Jim. Whoa. He was a good dude. I don't know what happened to him. I know he's no longer with us. He would show up at some pretty interesting places with some pretty interesting things in his possession. I have a picture of myself in a gold frame. It's a painting that Buffalo Jim had made for me. It's in the closet in this double wide that I'm sitting in right now. I don't hang it up because, it's a gold frame picture of me, and I just don't display a whole bunch of pictures of me in my house. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture with my iPhone and put it on my Twitter account, Steve Austin BSR, and that picture was painted by me from Buffalo Jim. He didn't paint it, but he had it commissioned, and he gave it to me. And he stapled his business card on the back of the frame, and he said, Steve, thanks for all the memories. Buffalo Jim. I can't remember what he signed on the picture, but I'm going to put that on my Twitter account. Buffalo Jim was a good guy. He was a little out there, but he was a lot of fun, and I appreciated the fact that he gave me that picture. So that's my Buffalo Jim story. The other Buffalo Jim stories would probably get somebody in trouble, so I'll leave those off the podcast, and this is Unleashed. I'll leave it at that. Hey, Steve, it's a huge honor to email you. I'm a huge fan, and you were so great to me and my family when we met you at a DVD signing. I get goosebumps thinking about it. I've never been hunting, but has always been interested in hunting. The thought of providing food for my family is unbelievable. What first steps do I take? No one in my family hunts, and I don't have any friends who hunt. I'm an absolute novice. Adam, check this question out. Hey, Steve and Ted, after hearing you guys talking hunting for a couple of years now, I'm interested. Sounds like an awesome thing to pick up and do with my son when he's old enough. However, my dad was never around to take us as kids. What would be the best way to try this out since I don't really know anyone that does hunt? Any advice on how to get exposed on this hobby? Thanks, Brian. Well, if you guys remember, I talked to Santino Morella a couple weeks ago on a podcast. He just got into bow hunting. They actually have a hunting course / school in Canada that you attend to learn ethical shots, a little bit of navigation, right, what's in season, how to put in for your tags. So, man, I was lucky enough when my mom and dad got divorced, and my mom moved from Austin, Texas, down to Victoria. She married my other dad, Ken. Well, I consider my real dad, Ken Williams. And my dad was an avid outdoorsman. He grew up in Yoakum, Texas. He was born in 1937. So he's old school, as you can imagine. He's 81, and he was just out here last week hunting. And I can remember me and my other two brothers, Scott and Kevin, walking behind him in the woods as he carried his .264 Winchester Magnum with a Leupold scope. And we were tramping behind him in the woods, and he was always looking back at us, telling us to shut the fuck up, be quiet, and stop stepping on so many sticks. So I was lucky enough to be hauled around to all the deer camps all over Texas that we frequented during my years. And then, when I got into the business of pro wrestling, we were hunting in Val Verde County out there in Comstock, Texas on a 10,000-acre piece of the Hargrove Ranch. and I just had a 1988 Ford F-150 and a four-wheeler, and didn't have a camper or nothing to sleep in, and I bought that little shell of a piece of shit. I've told that story a million times, but I got a chance to grow up and hunt. Teddy, I never asked you how you started hunting, so as we try to give these people some advice on how to get started in hunting, how did you start? Who took you, or who mentored you?
My uncle was the hunter of the family. My father loved to fish, but my mom was anti-guns, so my old man didn't hunt. But my Uncle Bill, who was a cop there in Phoenix, he hung out with other cops, and they shot, pistols, rifles, and they all deer hunted. So that's, I started going with him to deer camp with all of the guys, and then started fooling around with bow, because that's what he was doing. And then the kids that I ran with, playing ball, went to college with, all of that stuff, they all hunted and fished, and, that's what I did. But my old man just fished. He didn't hunt, but my uncle was hardcore. That's how I got started. In both of these emails, you neglected to tell me where you're from. So if I try to give you some advice, I don't know where you're from. Like if you say Texas, Alabama, Georgia, a place that's got a lot of woods, or Nevada, a lot of public land, if you're in New York City, it's going to be hard for me to tell you how to get. Well, you can go upstate New York. There's a lot of hunting over there, or there can be. But, man, it's just you got to be able to find a friend or someone that hunts, or look on the internet and type in, how do I start hunting? Because, fuck, I don't really know. Dude, I'm always watching hunting shows over here. Great idea. I mean, if I'm not watching the news, I've got, 604, 605 on both hunting channels. And, I mean, dude, we're right in the middle of deer season. It's like I'm not getting enough of it. I watch that stuff and pick up tips, And if you're hunter safety courses are a great way to start, but it's really not going to teach you about, going out in the woods and, how to camp, stuff like that. If I didn't know anything, but I wanted to get into it, I'd look for a guide. And just start talking to guides. Go to the gun store and talk to those guys. Who is a reputable guide that can, you can just talk. Yeah, that's a great point, Teddy, because, my brother-in-law, Mitch, Nevada Hunting Services there in Sparks, Nevada, I mean, that is a hunting son of a bitch and a real, true mountain man who hunts that big country out there and all those different units. And, for elk, mule deer, antelope, mountain lion, bear. I mean, if it's out there, he hunts it. But that's a great thing if you can find a good outfitter who's going to take you out there, because Mitch takes a lot of people out there that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Correct. They've just bought a rifle and they've sighted it in, but they don't know fuck all after that. It is his job to load up those buggies, get all the necessities, and go to that hunting camp. And they'll go out there, and you've hunted with him, you glass, and he's full service. So he does it all. You'll make the shot or miss the shot. He'll track it, scan it, quarter it up, do everything that he does. But he will look for sign. He will have scouted. He would have prepared in advance, because that's what he does. And he's at elite status. He's a master guide. So that would be a great way to learn, because in any state that you hunt in, there's going to be places that outfit or offer guide services. So if you're a total full-blown rookie, I think that would be a real easy way to get your hands-on experience, but make sure that you're dealing with a reputable guide. By the same token, as a new hunter, you got to show up with the right skill set as well. You know what I mean? You got to be able to shoot. You've got to be able to, keep up with the walking. You got to be in good shape. You can't just show up with a gun, never having fired it, just taking it out of the box and go, all right, dude, I paid you my money, now get me on a deer, because if you can't execute your portion of the thing, that'll irritate the guide. And it won't be as enjoyable a hunt, if you're not ready to perform at a good level. You need to be proficient. You need to be able to go to a target range and learn how to shoot. There's so many people that I hear, just like from my brother-in-law Mitch, hey man, these people came out, they had a brand new gun, and I said, well, what's your gun sighted in at? What do you mean? Have you sighted this thing in yet? Dialed in your scope? No, the gunsmith put the scope on her. He says ready to go. Hey, man, they'll bore sight that thing from you. That means it's in the neighborhood, but we've got to
shoot, how big is that piece of plywood we shoot at? 4x4?
That's 4x4.
And we got all these different targets on there. So, I mean, like the other day, I was dialing a new gun, put a scope on it, and it was in the ballpark. But, shoot, I was 12 inches off my first shot.
Oh, you were more than that. More than that. Weren't even on the paper the first shot.
So, but we dialed that thing in, and now it's shooting dimes. But you can't just get a gun, get a scope put on it. You haven't shot it. You show up with a box of shells. You need to go out there, get proficient with the gun, learn about the gun, be safe with the gun, but sight it in. You don't just show up with a gun and say, no, the gunsmith said this thing's on.
Right.
Here's the thing. I make everybody that comes out here to the Broken Skull Ranch sight in their gun at my range. And most of the time, my nephew and my niece are shooting my guns, and they're dialed in. But I take them down there to fire a couple of shots so they're adjusted to the trigger. They know what the trigger pull is going to be, how it's going to feel when they're taking aim on one of these animals out here. But my uncle showed up the other day, and he had just gotten back from a hunt in Colorado, hunting elk. And my dad said, hey, man, we're going to put Donnie over in this deer stand, and he's going to see if he can shoot a doe or something. I said, well, he needs to go to the target range and get his gun sighted in. And my dad said, well, he just came from Colorado. His gun is on. I said, no, it's not on. I said, I want him to go down to the target range and shoot his gun and make sure it's on, because it could have got bumped in travel, in transit, anything could have happened. Well, it turned out, since he was hunting in Colorado, he was taking long-range shots. He was sighted in 3 inches high at 100 yards. So the average shot out here at the Broken Skull Ranch is between 100 and 150 yards.
Right.
That's average. At pigs and coyotes, we're airing them out 300 to 400 yards. But on deer, that's the average shot. The average shot nationwide is right around 60, 70 yards, believe it or not.
No kidding.
Yeah, just for average deer. Now, you're not talking about big shots in Nevada,
right.
but that's your average shot. So in theory, if he's shooting at a buck and that deer is 100 yards away, he's shooting 3 inches high.
Correct.
And so if he's shooting, he might clip him in the back. He might totally miss him. So, he's been hunting for 50 years, my uncle has. And he wanted to come out here and just go jump in a deer stand.
Yeah.
But as a responsible landowner, and because I take pride in everything I got out here, and I don't want anybody just throwing bullets, I want you to be dialed in. So I had to override his seniority. And because I own this motherfucker, said, no, you go to the shooting range, and they were glad they did.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of an eye-opener for my dad, because I had to pull rank on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to, tell your elders, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's like when we went out to the range and I was, telling Bryant, say, hey, I would move that rest back a little bit rather than support it. Here I'm giving shooting tips to a guy 30 years older than me.
Yeah, but he had that sandbag on his barrel, and that's going to fuck up your harmonics and throw your bullet off. Yeah. So anyway, since we're talking about hunting, here's another one from Sean. Steve, I'm looking to pick up hunting next year. My biggest and only fear would be a non-lethal shot that just hurts the animal. What do you do in the event of a non-kill shot and the animal runs away? Boy, I tell you what, you always want to make them an ethical shot. I always want to line a deer up. I'm looking for a broadside shot, and I'm looking for a shoulder shot. Dead on, it's going to take out the heart, the lungs, take out those shoulders. And also, depending on how the animal's turned, I'll wait. I'm very patient. I'm not in a hurry out here. But shit happens. Sometimes they do run off.
Correct.
And a lot of times, someone will shoot something, they'll jump out of the deer stand and just go crashing in the brush to try to find out where it is or see what's happening. Well, if you shoot too far back, let's say you've gut shot that animal, that's not a good situation, because that deer might run off 50 to 100 yards and just lay down, and all of a sudden, here's you trampling up on it. It's going to jump up and run again, and so forth and so on, and it's going to lead you way out in the woods. He might start bleeding, and you got an animal that's mortally wounded, but you're never going to find because you keep running it off. So our thing that my dad always taught us, you put a deer down, you're watching your scope. If that deer stays there, give him 15 minutes to bleed out if he needs to bleed out. Most of the stuff that we're shooting out here, it's pretty much immediate. But there are going to be worst-case scenarios that do happen. My first thing would give the animal time to expire and then proceed accordingly by trying to find a blood trail, make sure you got a flashlight, a good flashlight, and proceed in the woods to get after him. I feel terrible when I make a shot on a deer and that deer doesn't, die a very quick death because I don't want to put that deer through any stress, pain, or suffering. I am a hunter, but stuff like that does happen. You got anything to add to that, Teddy?
You know what? I think part of being a good ethical hunter is having the right stuff in the event that you wound an animal and it runs off. We each carry backpacks. You got extra bullets. You got flashlights. You got extra batteries. You've got marking tape. If you get a blood trail, you can mark it. Just, stuff's going to happen, but be prepared. Don't. It's like showing up with a new gun. Don't go out to hunt without all of the stuff you need to cover all of the scenarios. That's part of being a good ethical hunter.
And it's amazing just how tough wildlife is in general. That's why I got so much respect for the white-tailed deer. I mean, I'm sure mule deer is the same thing, and elk. I mean, man, they're survivors. They're
Correct.
just tough.
Correct.
And, when you don't make a good shot, you owe it to that animal to try to track it down because you have respect for it. And so you got to put forth the effort. I had some people out here last year that took a shot at something. It was a hog, and I rolled up. It was getting dark. What happened? We shot a hog. Where is it? Ran in the brush. Did you try to find it? No. So they were guess. And I'm thinking to myself, you fucking try to track his pig down?
Mm-hmm.
You owe it to the pig. You owe it to me. You owe it to yourself. That's what hunting's all about. You don't shoot something and run it to the brush.
No.
And just sit there and not go after it.
That's different. Just the wrong way of thinking. That is the wrong way of thinking. Hell, we went out.
I don't know what you're thinking.
We went out and looked for it the next day.
Yeah.
We didn't even shoot it. But I mean, you owe it to the ranch. You owe it to the animal. Yeah.
So a lot of stuff that makes me shake my head. But yeah, man, you just be ready. And also, man, in your just like last year, I had some bad bullets that weren't really doing the job. And the animals were traveling, and Ted dialed us in with some Hornady SST 150 grain ammo, and that stuff is like gold because it works.
Yeah.
So all bullets are not created equal. Go to your gunsmith, ask, hey, what is a damn good round for, hey, this is what I'm hunting, or whether it's a thin skin game or thick skin game, there's ammunition designed for that specific animal. But I can't speak enough as far as the 308 goes. I'm just saying an endorsement, but those Hornady SST 150s are a motherfucker.
Don't be afraid to practice shooting. Go to the range. Shoot. Get familiar and proficient, with your gun.
And here's what me and Teddy do. I got a bunch of full metal jacket ammo that we'll just throw down range. We don't shoot our good stuff. We'll dial our guns in. We'll get it in a ballpark with the bulk ammo, and then we'll put our real ammo in there, and that's when we'll dial in. But if we come back to the range and we'll just shoot bulk ammo, we won't make any more adjustments on our scope because it's just shooting that ammo that's not as calibrated or as finely manufactured as our game ammo. But we know what we're doing. If you're hitting high right, but you're dialed in with your good ammo, we're just spending time at the range throwing bullets down the range, and you can't shoot too much.
Dude, if you had to guess, how many rounds have you and I shot this season thus far? All told.
Between the two of us?
Between the two of us.
100.
Yeah. And I mean, anything run off? No. We mishit anything? No. Yeah, you got to get proficient with your gun.
And I'm telling you, but we've been seeing that's a lot of shots. And that's why we're so tired.
Which kind of shots?
Those shots of whiskey are the ones that really get me. That's just shots of Hornady. I just go pick something up. Shots of whiskey. Hey, Steve, I love all your stories and jokes. I was wondering if you could answer my question. Can you? Neil. That's from my wonderful nephew, Neil. He sent that bullshit question in. Man, I'll send a picture out on Twitter of my Christmas present / birthday present he made for me. He made it in his ag class, his agriculture class. He's teaching how to weld and use a cutting torch. He's fixing to teach me and Teddy how to use a cutting torch I got out there in the barn. And we've never fired the thing up.
No, it's brand new.
A cutting torch. And so, anyway, he made me this badass 1/4-inch steel thing. It's about 2 feet across. It weighs about 25 pounds. It says Broken Skull Ranch. It was used a plasma cutter. His ag teacher from Olivia, Texas, helped him with his project. And well, I tell you what, Neil, I can't answer your bullshit question, but I love that damn thing you made for me in your agriculture class. And hell, he's only a junior, so he's going to have another year of welding and cutting under his belt, and just the skills that he's learned. I wish I would have learned that as a kid, because I can't do fuck all.
No, you and me
steel
both.
Chair, but that ain't doing it very much as far as getting work done here on the ranch.
Yeah, no, I would love to know how to weld or, run that cutting torch, and got to have a junior in high school teach us.
Hey, Steve, when I was younger, I used to watch Georgia Championship Wrestling, and there was this guy by the name of Bullet Bob Armstrong. His finish was the Georgia Jawjacker. Have you ever met this man, and whatever happened to him when WWF bought GCW? Vincent. Man, I tell you what, you're talking about Bullet Bob Armstrong. Man, that dude was a hell of a damn hand with a ton of charisma and fire, hellacious worker. He's the father of all the Armstrong boys. Brad Armstrong, who's no longer with us, Road Dogg Jesse James, Steve, Scott, who's refereeing in WWE right now. Shit, man, Bullet Bob got inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple years ago with WWE, and Road Dogg, I think, was it Brad that put him in? I can't remember. But he got up there and he did his speech, and boy, you talk about a promo. He had that southern drawl going, all the charisma in the world. He could talk like a silver-tongued devil and work his ass off. Bullet Bob, I think he's still around, and he was a hell of a damn hand. But he's the father of all the Armstrong boys, and they could all work their asses off, and they're all just like him. Funny, cool, and they'll fight you if you got a problem with them, and stand by their word. All the Armstrongs were good people, and back in the day when I was in WCW, Brad Armstrong was one of the best workers in the world. He could work American style, Japan style, Mexican style, lucha. He could do anything. All the Armstrongs could work. As far as I know, Bullet Bob is alive and well. I thought he was down in Georgia. They're down in Florida. But anyway, he went to the Hall of Fame, and he had a damn good career and drew a lot of money. So that's the story about Bullet Bob. Here's one from Teddy coming from Don Laga. What's Teddy's go-to pickup line when chasing some trim?
Slow down. Slow down. Pull over.
What's your go-to line? But it's not like you carousing bars and stuff.
No, dude. I mean, if I saw a chick in the grocery or something, you know that she's from out of town, because it's small town, all the locals. Yeah. Just go up and introduce yourself and, hey, how long you in town? What do you guys got going on tonight? Let's go to dinner. Shit, I ain't shy. I mean, fuck, I ain't got time to beat around the bush. Chances are they're only in town for a weekend, so we need to get down to the nut cutting.
So your basic strategy or psychology is, what's the worst I can say? Fucking no?
I don't give a shit what her favorite color is, what her zodiac sign is, none of that shit.
But later on you can get to know that. But just right then, the impending thing is, hey, you want to go out.
Correct.
Because going out, I mean, because you can't just say, hey, I'm shopping for groceries, but while I shop, I'm also looking for some trim. How about some pussy? Now, that would be stupid, because that ain't going to get you shit.
No.
Unless she's for hire. And that's a whole different ballgame. We're talking about regular women. So hey, how you doing? Would you like to go have a drink or go get some coffee or something like that? But you got to start off somewhere.
I'd show her.
You'll make the introduction.
Dude, I'd show her the shopping cart. Say, see all that garlic bread? How do you feel about pasta?
Yeah, and I know we just met, and this might be a little forward, but you ain't wearing blue panties, are you? Because if you are, you my kind of girl.
Yeah, I've had a vasectomy, honey, so I am safe as a kitten.
Yeah. Notice you overlooking those cucumbers. My name is Ted, and I've had a vasectomy. Would you like to go out tonight?
Dude, I need to figure out that voice memo thing on my iPhone so I can record some of these for later.
Here's another for Ted Fowler. Fowler, how do you handle your Thanksgiving plate with such high probabilities of foods touching each other? I respect the peas and carrots rule, but how far do you take this thing? Stay cool, fellas. Dave from New York.
Dude, you saw me eat last night. We had meatloaf and potatoes. I put the meatloaf on one half of the plate, and I flipped those potatoes, which were cut in half, the cut side down so they didn't roll around and touch anything. Left good, half-inch clearance, around everything. Thanksgiving time, man, I do one food item at a time. I'll throw a bunch of ham on my plate, eat that. Go back and get a mess of sweet potato casserole, eat that. If I get a biscuit or a piece of bread or something, I put that on the napkin setting, on the table, because that doesn't need to get on the plate.
Why don't you just eat a bunch of stuff in those paper bowls that we got so nothing has a chance? Because I know you don't give a fuck about being green and recycling shit because they don't do that in South Texas. So why don't you just put all your shit in bowls so it doesn't, individual bowls so they ain't got no chance to touch it?
Dude, you guys would pick me apart if I did that shit.
I wouldn't pick you apart. I mean, I might fire a scud missile at you. Fowler going in for another bowl of ham. By the way, Kristen asked me to remind you, did you take out a honey-baked ham, the ones that the people from Cold Steel Knives sent me because we're having Reuben sandwiches later? You did?
In the fridge, yeah.
Okay, we've got the ham thawed out. Hey, to everybody at Cold Steel Knives, manufacturers of the strongest, sharpest knives in the world, Lynn Thompson and the gang, thank you very much for the honey-baked ham. We're going to eat the shit out of it this afternoon. And I got a badass broken skull knife to carve that motherfucker up. Hey, Steve and Teddy, I'll put 2 questions in this email. All right, go ahead then. Steve, back in the territory days, Vern Gagne and Vince Sr., maybe some other promoters, paid the world champion 10% of the gate. Do you know if tag team champions, TV champion, etc., got a percentage of the gate? Did you get a cut of the gate when you were a champion working for Vince? This is coming from Andy. We'll get to his next question in a minute. Yeah, Andy, everybody gets a percentage of the gate. The guy on top, whether he's the world champion or he's not, the guy on top, and going back to the territory days. Okay, let's take it back to the territory days. Yes, I don't know what the percentage was, but he got a higher percentage of the gate than the rest of the people. Tag team champions, the only problem was there is you got 2 guys splitting the payoff on one spot. Same with the people that they're working with. TV champion depends on where you are in the card. Higher you on the card, the more of a percentage you got. If there ain't nobody in the building, you're probably working for free or just a cunt hair's worth of money because you got to have money in the house to split money in the boys. So, yeah, but your world champion or your top guy is going to make the most. It'll be the trickle-down effect from there. Second question coming from Andy. You and Teddy are obviously avid outdoorsmen. As much as you two love hunting, how much do you guys love fishing? My parents have a fully stocked pond at their house, and I enjoy fishing in the summer. And with how cold it's gotten here in Indiana, I've been able to do some ice fishing. What kind of fishing do you guys like to do? I've never been deep sea fishing, and if you have, I'd love to hear about your experiences. Andy, well, I grew up fishing in the salt water in South Texas, in Port O'Connor, Texas. Every now and then we'd fish Rockport where Teddy lives, but that was only once in a blue moon. We fished in Port O'Connor, Texas, all that water back there that my dad knew like the back of his hand, and we did that I did it for 30 years. My dad did it for over 50 years. He had his annual fishing party. And some of the properties and the lands that we've leased in the days, we would hunt for bass and catfish in ponds and stuff like that. And but basically it was a lot of saltwater stuff, and we were catching speckled trout, redfish, sheephead. You catch the occasional sand shark, mako shark, hammerhead, not mako, hammerhead shark, stuff like that. We would flounder old school style with a Coleman lantern, had a leader tied onto the back of the lantern to tilt it forward, had the back covered with foil, and we would walk and with a gig in our hands and a stringer on our waist and gig flounders, and that's pretty much what I grew up doing. As far as a love for fishing, I like to fish when they're biting. It's not something I go out to do just to relax because I like casting a rod and a reel. If they ain't biting, I'm type A, I'm ADD, so I'm bored as fuck. I do enjoy fishing. I would say I like fishing. I would say I love hunting. Ted, you in Rockport, I know you dig your fishing, so what's the story, hunting versus fishing, and what do you prefer to catch, and do you fuck with any freshwater stuff, because I know you live in a saltwater area?
Dude, I love both of them. I mean, I love to hunt and I love to fish. As far as fishing goes, being down there on the coast, luckily I'm dialed in with a handful of fishing guides, that go out during the week when, The out-of-towners aren't on the water, so we pretty much got it to ourselves. Those guys always know where the fish is or where the fish are, or they're real good at finding them. You know what I mean? They got it dialed in. Now, coming from Arizona, I did a lot of freshwater fishing, trout, bass, catfish, stuff like that. But now that I'm here on the coast, 99% of my fishing is in the saltwater. Now I got that pond at my, behind my house. I got bass in there, bass and catfish. I catch those on my fly rod because now that's my new thing is fly fishing, for the salt species, redfish, trout, stuff like that. And I'm just getting ready to kick off on that when I get back.
Man, back in the day, we would be out there and just out of Port O'Connor, would it be the Gulf of Mexico? We'd be out there past the jetties, whatever. But a lot of times to find the fish, my dad would always look for the birds, look for seagulls going into the water. So a lot of times you're out there, whether you want to hit a oil rig or the flats or some of the passes, Caballo Pass. I can't even remember all the names that we used to go. And my dad knew this place like the back of his hand. I just, was either riding shotgun or facing backwards looking at the outboard motor, so I never paid attention. And I didn't know my way around. I could get up and down the Intercoastal Canal. That's where we learned how to water ski. But we look for birds. And we never did really have a depth finder, one of those fish finders. When you talk about your buddies finding a fish, there's an art to that because you don't just jump in a fucking boat, hit the gas, and just go out there and find fish. So what are your guys that do it for a living? How are they finding the fish?
You know what? Those guys will all network amongst the guides, because they're on the phone all the time. And after the morning's trip, everybody will get on the phone in the afternoon and go, hey, man, we went over here and caught our reds. We went over here and caught trout. And then, because it is the flats, you can't really use a fish finder. Birds really don't play that big of a part in what's going on. But the guys know if there's been a lot of rain where these creeks are going to run into, drop off into the bay. You don't want to fish there because the salinity of the water will be down and the fish don't like that. You know what I mean? It's just experience like that. Dude, and these guys can go and look at a shoreline and say, the redfish are liking that grass, or, there's a bunch of shell here, and this is where we're going to pick up our trout. It's just years and years of experience. I mean, I'll bet the times we've gone out and haven't caught fish, you couldn't count them all on one hand. I mean, you could count them all on one hand because it doesn't happen that often. These guys are always on the fish.
But it's funny when you say that your buddies that are guides will share information, because I always know that when we came in with a cooler full of fish, or someone else did, or maybe we did catch fuck all, and you ask this question just a few times and then you stop asking it. I roll up without any fish, you got a shit pile.
Yeah.
Where'd y'all catch those at?
That's
a fucking kayfabe deal there, because no one's going to tell you where the honey hole is.
No, and there is a lot of trust, and there is a lot of bullshit that goes on with these guys where not so much misinformation, but if those guys don't like you or you've got a bad reputation, they'll send you the other direction, or just say, man, we didn't get on them, we got out late, we couldn't get the right kind of bait. And that's another thing. These guys know what bait is popping at that time, and they've got connections to get, like piggy perch, when they're a croaker, when the croaker aren't in yet. These guys will make calls around to people that they bought bait from before and meet them halfway between here and there and get bait, and then we went down to Baffin that time. We were the only people that had croakers, and I mean, we absolutely killed them. Came back to the boat ramp, and those are people that these guys don't know,
right?
And they're like, man, you guys really knocked them dead. Oh yeah, we were throwing plastics. We didn't have a fucking plastic on the boat, but we weren't going to say,
right?
We hooked up these croaker. But those guys, it'd be like me telling you, because we're buddies. Yeah. I'll give you the straight up. Now, the neighbors ask me what's going on. We're using salmon eggs and tiny marshmallows.
I'll just tell you, my dad wasn't telling nobody shit, because when he come back in 2 weeks, he's going to try the same spot. Let's move on. Hey, Steve, I've heard you mention that you're a fan of The Walking Dead. I am as well, and I'm a big fan of the character Rick Grimes. What did you think of the reunion with Daryl, and most importantly, getting his Colt Python back? Also, if the zombie apocalypse went down, what would you, your family, the dogs, and Ted do? Big fan of the show, Bill from Georgetown, Indiana. spoiler alert, I didn't know that Daryl got his Colt Python back. What we're doing is recording this last season of The Walking Dead, and once it's all happened, then we'll binge watch it. So that's what we're doing. I haven't seen anything regarding that. As far as if a zombie apocalypse went down, I'd probably be right here at the Broken Skull Ranch with my AR-10 and all my 308s and all the other shit that I got out here. And, about 10,000 rounds of ammo. So if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm cool. I'm ready. And if I'm in Los Angeles, I'm ready. I'll leave it at that. Teddy, zombie apocalypse. What would you do?
I'm going to make a quick run into Three Rivers, hit that liquor store to stock up, and then come back here.
Smart play. Cocksucker. You outthought me on that one.
We got bullets.
I got the production covered. I wasn't thinking about the refreshments.
Yeah.
So would you pick me up some Crown Black and a bottle of Blanton if they got it?
Yeah.
And my wife picked up a half-gallon of tequila. I think we're good. But if a zombie apocalypse happens, I would say 10 gallons of each.
Oh, yeah. Minimum. I'd take that flatbed trailer into town with me.
Yeah, there ain't going to be no zombie apocalypse. So, anyway, we'll move on from there. Hey, man, here's one from a couple that listens to the show. Happy holidays at the BSR. I've been a long-time fan of your show, listening weekly now, and my fiancée Kylie is a huge fan also. She'll only listen to your show, and sometimes we'll be laying in bed at 10 p.m. at night laughing our asses off while you and Ted go to work on making another award-winning podcast. Keep up the good work and swig a beer from all your fans in sunny Australia. My question is, would you agree with someone like Earl Hebner being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? He was an integral part of so many main events. He played a great role and would always help the boys out when needed. Could take the dramatic bumps. And could you ever have Earl on your podcast? I think it'd be a great conversation. Oh, man, this is from Luke and Kylie. Hey, man, thanks for listening to the show. Man, y'all got other business to be taken care of at 10 p.m. at night instead of listening to my fucking podcast. But nonetheless, thank you for the support. Earl Hebner should definitely be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I think, Jesus Christ, Tommy Young ought to be in the Hall of Fame, too. There's a lot of good referees, but those two jump to mind immediately. So, yes, to answer your question, Earl Hebner was one of my favorite referees I always worked with. And, man, when I was drinking them beers, and because Earl was a big beer drinker, and I'd toss him those beers, and he was like a kid in a candy store, man. He'd have that smile, and we'd crash those beers together. He goes, Austin, with that Virginia accent, whatever it is. He goes, Austin, you motherfucker. And we was having a good time. And, Earl should be in the Hall of Fame. Referees, there definitely should be some referees in the Hall of Fame. They got that Celebrity Hall of Fame. Let me tell you, man, you have some of those referees that the people know, and those referees were over, and they added so much importance to the match. So, yeah, I'm down for that. Let's keep moving along here, Teddy. I got 1 meter left on my battery. I got plenty of memory chip going, but I'll make sure this battery don't run out. Here we go. This was a wrestling question. Get back to a little bit of wrestling. Here it is from David. Hey, Steve, why won't you come back for just one more match? The Rock has done it. Ric Flair has done it. Hogan did it in his late 50s. I can name a whole bunch like Hogan who wrestled in their 60s, and you're only 52. I understand you may have neck issues, but just do a Goldberg and beat the shit out of Braun Strowman or somebody. Thanks, Steve. Your shows with Ted Fowler are by far my favorite, and I love all your podcasts, David. Well, first of all, I would want to go in there and beat the shit out of Braun Strowman. That big, strong motherfucker deserves a push. He don't need no one to beat him, much less Stone Cold Steve Austin coming in with a bad set of wheels and a stack of dime issues. So I'm 52. And I get these emails all the time saying, Steve, why don't you make a comeback? So-and-so did it. Goldberg did it. Man, I'm happy for all my friends that make comebacks. And Bill going in and beating Brock Lesnar, that was awesome. So maybe we're lining that up for WrestleMania 33 down there in Orlando. But I ain't making no comeback. I had someone cuss me out on the email the other day saying that they hated my guts because I wouldn't do a comeback. God damn it, man, I'm done. I rode off into the sunset in 2003, whenever the fuck it was, after WrestleMania 19, came back for a couple of appearances, but I'm done, and I'm happy being done. And I don't want the pressure of having another match on my shoulders because I don't have to have another match because I'm satisfied with the career that I had. And I appreciate everybody that supported my wrestling career, and wrestling has springboarded every endeavor that I'm involved in right now. And I love the business, and I love WWE and all the organizations that I work for. But, man, I'm done. And, it's like when we did that last DVD, that George Strait song, Somewhere Down in Texas is where you're going to find me, or maybe it'd be California, wherever. But I'm enjoying my time in the outdoors, and the time that I want to spend now is on the things that I'm passionate about, learning how to do long-range shooting. I'm still trying to learn how to make neon clocks. I'm working on stuff that I really want to do, and I really don't want to get back in the wrestling business. I think the wrestling business, in my opinion, is for the younger generation, the generation that's in there right now, and you do it as long as you can, and then you ride off into the sunset and you adjust accordingly. I've adjusted accordingly. I have so many great memories of the wrestling business and how good the wrestling business was for me, how hard I had to work to get to the top, how many breaks, how many lucky flukes happened to allow me to have the success that I did. I'll leave well enough alone, man. And for the Goldbergs and anybody else out there that wants to make that comeback, man, I sit there and watch, and I'm cheering for them, and I want them to have great matches, and I'm wanting people to cheer for them and like them. But I'm done, brother. I really am. And I'm happy that I'm done because I'm happy with where I'm at in my life. Right out here at the Broken Skull Ranch in deer season, drinking whiskey, having a few beers, hitting the weights every fifth or sixth day of the week. But, dude, I'm so fucking dialed into what I'm doing right now. I'm done. I don't need a comeback. End of story. Hey, love the show when you shoot the shit with Teddy. Who are both of your picks to make it to the Super Bowl, and who do you have winning it all? Also, does anyone stand a chance to get Alabama in a college football playoff? Scott in Denver. Yeah, man, the Super Bowl, I don't know about the picks. It'd be nice to see Dallas Cowboys win it all. But right now, I'm thinking the New England Patriots. Somehow, some way, with that Tom Brady right there throwing that football. Goddamn, he's looked awesome all year. I have a hard time seeing anyone outcoach Bill Belichick and anyone outplay Tom Brady with his experience in those big games. So I don't know who they'll be playing, but I'm thinking New England. As far as the college football playoff, I like Alabama's chances with that badass defense. I love Jalen Hurts. Goddamn, for a freshman, what a quarterback, what a year he's had. But Urban Meyer, my other favorite coach over there at Ohio State, happened a couple of years ago. Alabama went as a 1 seed, Ohio State as a 4 seed, and Ohio State thumped Alabama, won the national championship. So I like Alabama's chances. I'm not discounting Clemson. I'm not discounting Washington, because Clemson matching up with Ohio State, I think. If they have it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a real interesting game. Deshaun Watson's really going to have to get off. And, Washington always has a chance. I forget their head coach's name. He came out of that program. Was it Boise State? Nonetheless, hell of a head coach. All 4 head coaches are awesome. Dabo Swinney at Clemson as well. The thing, Alabama, if they end up playing Ohio State, you just got to watch J.T. Barrett running up the middle. Goddamn, he'll kill you. And he's got another year left in him if he wants to come back. So I'd like to see Alabama win it. If Ohio State wins, I'll be happy as well. Those are my 2 favorites. Teddy, you don't really give a fuck about football, but I'll let you weigh in on this.
You know what? I would like to see Dallas get into the Super Bowl. I mean, they got that rookie quarterback that's doing pretty good.
Dak Prescott, kick-ass year.
But to your point, New England, with the Tom Brady, I think they're hard to beat.
With that experience, and Dak Prescott's had a hell of a year. Ezekiel Elliott will probably be, definitely a Rookie of the Year, if not MVP. And, man, that kid runs hard, and he runs tough, and he runs mean. I really like him. I liked him when he was at Ohio State. I like him even more as a Dallas Cowboy. And he's got that great Dallas Cowboy offensive line blocking for him. So, hey, man, it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it'd be cool to see Dallas do it, but I think New England will do it. Hey, here's a wrestling question. Steve, have you been able to catch the Matt Hardy stuff recently? The final deletion, delete, or decay, Apocalypto? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Tanner. Man, I got a chance to see Final Deletion and Delete or Decay. I have not seen Apocalypto. I think it's highly entertaining. God dang, Matt Hardy worked his ass off on his character, and for a guy who's been around as long as he's been, just being Matt Hardy, and not I mean just being Matt Hardy, but I mean pretty much just middle of the road type character or gimmick, great worker, but he was never to the extreme as far as character development. For him to take that character from being in the vein that he was for so many years to spin that thing the way he has now with the accent, just the over-the-top stuff, I think it's a phenomenal body of work. I was highly entertained by it. All the drones, all the stuff, Jeff Hardy's involvement, Matt's wife being involved, the baby, with the guy who does everything, sets up the battlefield. I think that's actually Rebby's father, I think. But anyway, I think it's been phenomenal. It's very entertaining, and I give Matt Hardy a lot of credit for coming up with that because I know he was a creative force behind it, and that's him. He's there performing it, and I don't know how they film this stuff, how long it takes to film it, but for TNA to dedicate this much time to it and spend as much money as they have, because this wasn't cheap. All the cameo appearances, the people showing up in the boats and stuff like that, I thought it was awesome. I was very entertained by it. Not everybody could do this, but Matt Hardy has masterfully pulled this off, and I thought it was really, really fun stuff to watch. And I really love the commitment by Matt Hardy because, dude, he went out on a limb, and I'm all about going out on a limb, and he wasn't afraid to, so that's why I dig it. Here's a quick question. It's a wrestling question. Hey, Steve and Ted, hope you and your families are good. Steve, do you think WWE will induct Big Van Vader into the Hall of Fame this year? Everyone would agree that he more than deserves to be put in. John Ty, you damn right Big Van Vader deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know when they'll put him in. Leon came out with some bad news a while back on Twitter, said his doctor had given him 2 years to live due to congestive heart failure. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but, let's not get into Leon's health. I hope he's feeling well, or I don't know anything about congestive heart failure other than it's not good. But when you talk about the body of work that this guy put in over in Japan, WCW, and in WWE, he kind of really got his legs chopped out from under him. Didn't have the run that he deserved, but I was there in WCW when he was on fire, having those great matches with Sting and everybody else, and he was just a big bully heel, moonsaults off the top. His work in Japan with that big shoulder pad helmet gimmick they gave him, he was tailor-made to be Big Van Vader, and is one of the best big men to ever work inside the squared circle. He was believable. You feared him. He scared the fuck out of you. He laid his shit in. He was a fucking monster in the ring, but he was a sweetheart. And I'll never forget that advice. I've told you the story many times. That one time when I was frustrated in WCW over my contract and was ready to go tell the powers that be to go fuck yourself. And Leon said, Steve, he goes, easy, brother. He goes, always let a cooler head prevail. Which means, hey, man, think about this shit. Yeah. Just knee-jerk reaction. But and I've told that story a million times. But I love Leon and just his advice, but his work in the ring. Teddy, were you able to ever check his work out or watch that big motherfucker in action?
Yeah, dude, I saw him.
Brutal.
I watched a couple of his matches. I mean, for a big guy, the athleticism that he displayed was just, ridiculous. A guy that size can be that nimble. And then I heard him speak somewhere, man. He's very intelligent, very articulate, very well spoken. Yeah.
I'll never forget the time we was over in Kuwait, and the damn reporter, him and Undertaker were on the stage, and the reporter was saying something about wrestling being fake. Leon got it up, and he paintbrushed him a couple of times. They threw his ass in jail over in Kuwait. We flew back to the United States. Leon's still in Kuwait. His wife cussed him up and down on the phone, hung up on him. I hate to repeat that story, Leon, but you know that's what happened. And he was trying to protect the business, and Undertaker, when he tells the story, Undertaker's cool, calm, and collected about everything. He was a leader of the locker room, just a cool, laid-back guy. And all that shit goes down, and just Mark kind of just rolls his eyes as he's thinking under his breath, God damn, really? really, he's going to do this? And fucking Leon got in a lot of trouble. And that one time we was at Royal Albert Hall, and he beat up that not a big-ass table about the size of this one we're at right now, which is about 400 or 500 years old. It was a treasured antique worth untold thousands of dollars. But fucking the one time in England, this is the incident where Sid and Arn got into the scissor stabbing match. Well, I'll tell the story. We was down there in England. I told you the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I was the last man in the bar. Fancy that. It was 4 or 5 in the morning. I was having my last beer. And here comes Leon walking down to the bar in nothing but his white underwear. He goes, Stone Cold. He goes, what are you doing? I said, man, I'm just having a beer. He goes, man, I'll have one with you. We had been drinking all night.
Right.
I hadn't quit. And that's when Big Sid Vicious comes in, bleeding like a stuck pig. And Leon stuck his finger, and I guess your femoral artery down here in your groin, because he was just pumping, spurting blood out. He would have bled out had Leon not plugged his vein with his finger. Fucking paramedics come in. They take Sid to the hospital. His life is saved. We go to find Arn. Me and Ricky Steamboat found Arn in his room. He was bloody from head to toe. But I'll never forget that. I was down in the bar, closing down the motherfucker, representing. And here comes fucking Leon White in his white underwear and nothing else. You had to see it to believe it. God damn it. You know what, Teddy? I got more questions, but we've been talking for a while, about an hour and 38 minutes. You got the thing is, we're going to do another Q&A down the road. The final question. I sent out this text message, on Twitter. I sent out a tweet on Twitter and said, hey, you guys send questions in, which we've been answering, or topics of discussion. We talked about the moon, JFK, blah, 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 to Area 51.
Right.
I don't know how good we're at it, but we talked about it. And good morning, afternoon, evening to the global icon and national treasure, and to you too, Teddy. I'm a long-time listener, first-time question asker. Steve, could I get your and Ted's thoughts on the rise and fall of the Ming Dynasty in China? Is there anything you would have done different? Thanks, Matt Tracy.
Ooh.
You know anything about the Ming Dynasty?
Man, I just watched Marco Polo deal on Netflix. A couple of seasons of that.
What does that got to do with the fucking Ming Dynasty?
Dude, the same time period.
It was?
Yeah.
So what happened?
Dude, Marco, oh, God, who was the, Kublai Khan was the emperor. He was a bad dude, man. He killed everybody. He just didn't give a shit. It was a good show. It's a good show.
Whoa, what would you have done differently if you're the Ming Dynasty?
I'd have got the fuck out of there, man, because Khan was killing everybody. He was a big old fat dude, but I mean, I dug him because he had all those concubines and stuff, and even though he's married, dude, the chicks were just throwing themselves at him. I guess that was
They didn't want to get killed. Jesus Christ. All right, here's the thing. I don't know enough about the Ming Dynasty, and I don't know enough about Kublai Khan, so I've got my research to do now that you've asked the question. And I wasn't making light of a bad situation when I said that, so don't think that I was discounting the horrible acts that he did. So who's going to research the Ming Dynasty?
You.
I'm going to research the Ming Dynasty, and you're going to research?
Landing on the moon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kublai Khan.
No, dude, but
it was Kublai Khan related to Shaka Khan?
Distant cousins.
Shaka Khan. I'll start singing that old song from 30 years ago. That shit was bad back in the day. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan. Let me. I can't even do it. People are going to turn the fucking off button. Hey, I got the man with the verbal tap. Hey, check it out. There was I got to give a shout out to a guy over there. He's got a Kawasaki four-wheeler, Casey, and someone came into his office, and he wanted to know if I'd give her a shout out. Janae Taylor, how are you? She's a lady of high religion, but she listens to the Steve Austin Show. She's a church-going lady. Shout out to Janae Taylor from Casey Daniels and his Kawasaki four-wheeler. Quick wrap-up here, Teddy. Last 2 emails. Hi, Steve. I hope you're doing well. My name's Ryan. I worked the independent scene for over 10 years in the Midwest and finally received my WWE tryout in 2013. I listen to your show all the time because the knowledge you share is highly beneficial for me, even though I no longer participate in in-ring activities. I actually work for the only U.S. manufacturer of hearing aids, Starkey Hearing Technologies out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. After listening to your recent episode with Ted and your wife, I heard you mention again your issues with hearing and needing hearing aids. I wanted to reach out to see if we can help. I talked with the folks here at Starkey, and they are very interested in helping you. They make the best hearing devices in the world, and they're American-owned and operated. No one else can say that. I'm not sure if you'll get this, but I hope you do. I bet just by trying on a pair, you'll notice the difference immediately. Plus, we make them so small, no one ever know you're wearing them. Hey, Ryan, appreciate you reaching out. My brother Scott got a set of hearing aids. We was at Thanksgiving a couple of months ago. I didn't even see them, but you saw them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about getting some hearing aids because not only does my brother wear them, but my brother-in-law, Mitch, wears them. That big, rugged outdoor motherfucker. And he goes, just like my brother says, he goes, you won't believe what you're missing. I don't know what I can be missing. I thought about getting some hearing aids, but a global icon of national treasure. I already got my eyeglasses that take on and off if I'm reading something up close.
Right.
I don't know. What would you think if I strapped a pair of hearing aids on?
Dude, I'm not going to judge you on that. I've hung out with you enough. I know you could benefit from them. It'd make your wife happy.
If I got a set of hearing aids, I'd be working harder than I'm already working. Because sometimes when she tries to tell me some stuff, I just kayfabe her like I don't hear her. But I think she's caught on to that little scandal.
Yeah.
But my brother said, you won't hear what you're missing. And, I got some sport ears that kind of, if a loud sound comes in, it'll block a sound, but it will also amplify sounds. But the problem I had with those is my big-ass club hands changed out those little bitty fucking batteries, and you can't turn them off. So me being such a cheapskate, I hate to run the battery down if I'm not using the hearing aids, but you can't shut them off. So, I mean, that's a real stupid reason not to wear a hearing aid. But if I'm just talking a normal conversation like right now, if I'm talking to someone far away, if we're in a restaurant, I'm reading lips half the time. And if it gets too loud, I just tune out of the conversation. If there's a group of people, I won't say shit. I'll just sit there like a bump on a log. So if I get those hearing aids to drown out all the motherfuckers at the different tables who are yelling and shit, so maybe I could pay attention to what's going on at my table.
You might be hearing a lot of shit you don't want to hear.
Yeah, look at that stupid motherfucker over at the hearing aids. I like that one when the guy's got the Whisper 2000 on. He goes, hey, good looking, I'll be back in a minute. Or no, like the girl goes, oh, he's so good looking. You remember that one? And he heard her because he had the Whisper 2000 on. Yeah, so anyway, I thought about getting some hearing aids. Maybe I'll get some thought. Here's a heartwarming story, Teddy. This podcast help out to save somebody's life. He goes, hey, Steve, I got to blow some smoke right away and tell you that I love the show and I've been listening since day one. Although your show may have never won any awards, I believe it saved my life. Let me explain. I work in a warehouse where I have to climb ladders on occasion. Well, the other day I missed a rung on my way down, and needless to say, I was headed for a long fall. And that's when all those episodes of the Steve Austin Show began running through my mind. I knew automatically that the only thing that was going to save me was a flat back bump. So I flattened out, spread my arms, tucked my chin, and wham! I landed as flat as a pancake, and the impact was spread across my body. I got up surprised and a little embarrassed, but thankfully with no injury to speak of. And I owe it to you and your show where I learned the art of taking a flat back bump. Thanks again, Steve, for your show and all the wrestling knowledge it provides. Sincerely, Carlos Campos. Carlos, hey, goddamn, missed the rung. I was out there climbing up and down a ladder the other day filling feeders, and goddamn, I missed a couple of rungs, but I was only on a 5-foot ladder, so I didn't have any falls. But I tell you what, man, learning how to take a bump or just learning how to fall has saved me so many times just in the days back when I was riding four-wheelers in Georgia out on deer leases that I was on, rolled a couple of four-wheelers, and just knowing how to go with things, just not put a leg or an arm down to stop that fall, but rolling over to your back. There's an art to learning how to fall and to learning how to bump. And I still fall every now and then. I ain't fell in a long time, but yeah, man, taking a bump is taking a bump. And if you know how to fall, you can save yourself a lot of goddamn harm.
Dude, I remember a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you remember this or not, we got into this deal about walking, right? Taking that lap because you just gotten your knee operated on. And we were walking, and man, I think you had on running shoes. I don't think you had on your flip-flops, but running shoes. And we were walking. Once again, you had just had your knee, operated on. you stumbled and started going forward to fall, and you had your walking stick with you, and I looked, just real quick, and I'm thinking, well, fuck, I can't stop your big ass. You're going down, and I'm thinking the worst. Dude, you tucked a shoulder, rolled, and popped right back up and didn't even miss a beat, and I'm like, God damn, dude, are you all right? And you're like, yeah, fuck, come on. Yeah, I mean, that was the goddamnest thing.
I remember how we was walking down the West Fence line.
Yeah, West Fence line, yeah.
I was embarrassed because I fell. When you fall, you feel like a fucking idiot, especially when you fall in front of people. But, it's just you and me. But, yeah, man, I know how to fall. I mean, goddamn, I did it for a living.
Dude, I was glad you got back up.
But, sometimes when you just, if you're walking on the sidewalk and there's part of it that just juts up and you hit that thing and come to that just abrupt stop and you lurch forward, it's so violent. Boy, I mean, you can get fucked up just tripping and falling on a sidewalk.
Correct.
So it hurts because it jars so hard.
Yeah.
So just doing the stupidest shit, you can have the goddamn. What happened? I'm just fucking tripped. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how we're gonna wrap up the story on a high note talking about that.
Yeah, I've been fortunate work-wise. I haven't fallen off anything. I mean, I slid off that one roof last year, but that wasn't that bad.
That wasn't that bad, but you almost cut your hand off with that saw. And no more instances like that?
No, everything's good. No nails through the foot or anything like that. It was a pretty accident-free last year. Nothing bad happened.
Man, I'm looking for a good 2017. 2016 was a very average year for the kid. So, I mean, I had a lot of good shit happen.
Right.
And other people had a lot of worse stuff happen to them. But I'm looking for a good 2017. I thought right into the middle of the year, and then some other shit happened, and then I was telling Kristen, because she was in the same boat with me, I was like, God damn, man, they always say you're supposed to eat some black-eyed peas on New Year's Eve for good luck.
Oh, dude.
Hey, dude, I'm just telling you.
They taste like dirt.
I don't give a fuck. I'm going to eat a whole pot full of those motherfuckers because I only had about a half bowl. So I figured I need about I'm going to eat 2 cans of black-eyed peas. And I'm not like superstitious. But, it's one of those things you do. It's like tradition. Like we talked about Christmas at the beginning of the podcast. Yeah. It's like when I put my shoes on every single day, whether it's a flip-flop, my bud boots to go hunting, my tennis shoes to go to the gym. I put my right shoe on first because I'm superstitious about that. I just believe if I put the other one on, something bad is going to happen. That's stupid as fuck. But that's what I do.
Dude, you're asking a guy who doesn't want his food to touch? If that's stupid? No, that seems perfectly normal to me.
So in 2017, I'm going to bypass everything else. I'm just going to eat nothing but black-eyed peas. I'm going to come out 2017 shitting platinum coins. All right, wrapping up with Ted Fowler. Fuck, we've been sitting here shooting the shit, answering your questions for about a minute and 50 seconds. And we're going to go fire up the chainsaw, cut a couple of trees down. It's already 1:30. It'll be time to get in the deer stand here in a little bit. I'm going to float around, probably ride the fences, put Neil over there, try to see if he can get on that buck, show him a picture of it. And I think my wife wanted to fire down a Bloody Mary or a margarita for our anniversary, so maybe we'll do something like that.
See, I forgot about it being your anniversary. That's why you said you're going to be in bed at 9:30 tonight.
Oh, dude. Oh. Danger. Yeah, danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, I didn't say I was going to be in bed at 9:30 this morning talking about this evening because it's my anniversary. I will be having my eyes closed with my sleep apnea mask on, sawing logs. Fuck, I stayed up after you left, had another mixie, Crown Black and water, and then I had another one after that, and when 520 came on, I was out there at my Kawasaki Mule Pro FXT waiting on my nephew, and I was thinking, how we roll out here.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to go
going. You ain't going, you get left.
But since I love him and he made me this great little thing, I gave him a little text message. I said, grab the gun by the liquor cabinet and your binoculars. I'm out here in the Mule. And he showed up 2 minutes later. So he was a little bit late, but he made the hunt. And we're going to go chase him again this afternoon. All right, Ted Fowler, you can find him on Twitter, Ted Fowler 361. Same thing on Instagram, Ted Fowler 361. All the bullshit that he sees and does out here at the Broken Skull Ranch, he posts on there, and the stuff from his regular life outside of this place. And you can find me at Steve Austin BSR on Twitter and Instagram as well. And follow all the headaches, hassles, and horse shit. And big thanks to UVC Power Sports up there in Alvin, Texas. I posted a picture. The transformation on Buck the Mule is underway. They're out there working on that damn unit, and we're changing so many things on that. It's going to be a real cool thing, and Shannon's going to have a time-lapse photography or video session of the entire build in progress, so you'll be able to check that out on their website once I announce it, and I probably figure they'll be finished in a couple weeks' time. So it's a real cool project. Buck the Mule, my mule from California. I'll ship this mule back to California, and look forward to seeing all the stuff that they do to it. We're signing out and coming back to close the show down. If you're in the market for a car, then you need to check out TrueCar and the TrueCar app. TrueCar gives you the pricing information you need to feel confident about your purchase. When you register with TrueCar, you'll see what other people in your local market pay for the car you want, and from there you can connect with a local TrueCar certified dealer and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. TrueCar shows you real pricing on actual inventory, so you see competitive pricing offered to you by TrueCar certified dealers for vehicles that are actually on their lots. TrueCar makes car buying easy, no matter if you're looking for a brand new or a used vehicle. There's over 500,000 pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers nationwide, and there are over 13,000 TrueCar certified dealers. And over 2 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar certified dealer network. TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off into the sunset. Ain't no sunset out here. Fixing to jump in my Kawasaki mule with my nephew Neil, my wife Kristen, throw Ted Fowler 361 in the back seat, and ride around the ranch and celebrate being married for 7 fucking years. God damn. Y'all thought I was the baddest motherfucker ever to walk down the damn WWE aisle and open up cans and whoop ass, stomp a mud hole, and walk 'em dry, but being married for 7 years is tougher than any match I ever had. How I've done it, I have no idea. I'm just fucking with you. I love my wife, and I'm glad I'm married. I'm glad I found my soulmate. There at the World Gym in Los Angeles, California, Marina Del Rey of all places. She walked in the gym, and I told my buddy Dan, I said, God damn, who's that? That's old Kristen. I used to know her from the Powerhouse Gym. What does she do? She's a teacher. What does she teach? Special ed. Damn, what kind of music she listen to? Metal. Does she drink? Yeah, I think she likes vodka. Sound like my kind of girl. 7 years later, 12 years later, 7 years married, here I am. So I'm about to take my baby girl on a ride on my Kawasaki mule. Husband of the year like a motherfucker. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys supporting the show. ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin has a bunch of the shit I've been wearing on Broken Skull Challenge. It's only the baddest goddamn TV show on planet Earth, and it's rolling. It's in action every single Sunday night. We got another new episode this Sunday, 10/9 Central on Country Music Television, CMT. Check it out. We're boiling down. We're winding it down to the final 2 badass episodes that are probably going to be some of the most epic shit you've ever seen on television. Keep tuning in. Set your DVRs. Country Music Television, channel 327 on DirecTV. Set your DVR. 10/9 Central every single Sunday. Whoop Ass TV. Speaking of whooping ass, you want a badass beer? How about an IPA? I got one for you. It's Broken Skull IPA. It's from El Segundo Brewing Company, 140 Main Street in El Segundo, California. Stop by and have a glass fresh out of the tap. Or if you live in Cali, you can go to Whole Foods or Total Wines and buy you a shitload of it. If you don't live in Cali, check InsideTheCellar.com and see if they ship to your state. God damn, you can also go to BrokenSkullRanch.com and get to the same link. Anyway, I appreciate y'all supporting the sponsor of the Steve Austin Podcast. They are the ones who let me do this for you for free twice a week, so big thanks to DDPYoga.com. Buy a max pack or a combo pack and get a second one for 50% off at DDPYoga.com/Austin. To Helix, go to HelixSleep.com/podcast to get $50 off your first mattress order. To NatureBox, go to NatureBox.com/podcast for 50% off your first order. To CISO, Go to CISO.com and use the promo code PodcastOne to get 2 months for free. And, of course, to Amazon, who've been supporting this podcast since day one. And Amazon is the best place to get the Cold Steel Broken Skull knife. Just $75 for the most badass pocket knife on planet Earth. And if you order the Cold Steel Broken Skull knife through my Amazon link, Amazon will kick back a couple of bucks to the podcast. It won't cost you nothing extra. No hidden fees or charges. You can buy whatever you plan on buying and help out the podcast in the process. You can find my Amazon links by going to PodcastOne.com, clicking on the Killer Deals button in the top right corner of the page, and then hitting the Steve Austin Show button. I got Amazon links for Amazon USA, Amazon UK, and Amazon Canada. So again, just go to PodcastOne.com, click the Killer Deals button in the top right corner, and then click on the Steve Austin Show. Bookmark it so you can find it easier. You're thinking, hey, Steve, you didn't give us a video to watch. That's right. You don't get a video to watch because you should be out probably doing your Christmas shopping or just doing your thing to try to get organized for the holidays. I'm watching a doe run across my backyard. I know there's going to be about a 160 class buck chasing her ass. So no video of the week. My video is watching this damn deer in my backyard. That's a damn good buck right there, too. Hey, keep listening. The 60-second AP News headlines are coming up next. Ted Fowler's going to be on the podcast again. I'm going to probably break down a tag team match, one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a long time, on the next show. Stay tuned. Until then, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
Download new episodes of Steve Austin Unleashed every Thursday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.